the victim. And of course, MAGA, we know you don't give a shit about women, so you're not going to believe them anyway. So yeah, that's the story.
Are well aware of, and I know at times you've referenced videos which we have not confirmed the existence of, but I know that you felt that this was coordinated later when you look back on it. What was it that made you draw that conclusion?
Well, I was sort of known in the industry for being somewhat combative with, photographers who would expose themselves or do inappropriate things, or even guys who would touch or harass on the streets. And Jeffrey was aware of that. And I think he was excited. I think the gist in my mind, given what he knew and the way it played out, was, hey, I'm going to deliver this person to you who's actually not going to let you get away with what you do. And I did, because I froze. Like I said, when it's hidden in its brazenness like that, you freeze. And, he's a master of that. So, I mean, he talked about it, right? He talked about pussy grabbing on the Access Hollywood tape.
And tonight, if you're aware, President Trump has filed this libel lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal over its reporting that there was this note bearing Trump's name as a signature and an outline of a naked woman that was included in a 50th birthday album for Epstein in 2003, a note that also depicted an imaginary conversation between the two men. And part of it reads, quote, Donald saying, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, yes, we do. Come to think of it, Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me that the last time I saw you." And then finally, Donald, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Trump called that letter fake. He said it was out of character for him because he never wrote a picture or drew a picture in his life. Wrote a picture, I think he said. No, it's not his kind of language. Based on your time with both men, does that sound out of character to you?
What, are you kidding me? I know what they were up to together. It happened to me. I was polygraphed. I have the post-assault postcard with a love note. So I have the receipts. Where are Donald Trump's receipts? Where are they? I know what they were up to together, and I know what that means. It's very clear. It wasn't baking or fishing.
Stacey Williams, that was her interview with Aaron Burnett. I also want to point out that there are dozens of other women who have credibly accused Donald Trump of what he's done in this case. Again, you can choose to believe what you want. We obviously know that MAGA does not care about transparency, because what they were excited for was the list was going to come out and it was going to be everybody that they were told to hate. Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and the Hollywood elites. And again, I will say this to you again. Anybody who is on that list, anybody who was a client, anybody who participated in the trafficking of young girls and P3-ophilia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, anybody, lock them the fuck up. Now, have you noticed the trolls in the chat today? None of them have said that. You should be demanding everything comes out. And by the way, we have some breaking news. So, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, this was just announced 17 minutes ago. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche announced that he intends to meet with Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell in the coming days about any information she has regarding Epstein's other associates, as the Department of Justice and Attorney General Pam Bondi continue to face scrutiny from the right for the decision not to release the further Epstein files. Again, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche announcing today that he intends to meet with Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell in the coming days about any information she has. So we'll see. We will see. We will see what's going to happen there. Now, there's layers to that side of the story too, right? Because of course there are. So we've got reporting that this is from Fox. Ghislaine Maxwell, this is from Trump's Epstein's former lawyer. Ghislaine Maxwell should get immunity in exchange for secrets. Alan Dershowitz. So there's been reporting in the past that Dershowitz was part of this, community. That Dershowitz, there was pictures of him with a young girl, that he was nude. And then there was a whole controversy connected to that about how he claimed the accusations were not credible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So can we trust him? So this is the problem. This is why I've spent so much time talking about media literacy and misinformation, disinformation, and who to trust and how to trust credible sources. So we've got Todd Blanche, who is a Trump sycophant, who defended him, who lied in court. We know all this shit. He's the assistant of the second in command under Pam Bondi, right? At the Department of Justice. So he's the one that's going to go talk to Ghislaine Maxwell? Okay. Because I can tell you, the same people that are clamoring on the right to say, why didn't Dems release this? If the Democrats had, or anybody connected to the Democratic Party had released this information during Biden's presidency or whenever with Trump's name on it, you wouldn't have believed it anyway. And by the way, information did come out under the Biden administration in January of last year, which is where we got the flight logs from, right? So that information came available because it was unsealed by the judge. So, and I will say this to you again, if it is your claim that, again, this is the claim that Trump has made, that it's a hoax initiated by the top Democrats, think about it, okay? If the top Democrats created this, a hoax, to hang this on Trump, then why didn't they ever use it? Why didn't they use it in 2016, right after Access Hollywood came out? Why didn't they use it in 2020? Why didn't they use it in 2024? They're not the ones that promised to release all this. They're not the ones. Quite frankly, I don't think the reason that Bill Clinton hasn't gone public is because Bill Clinton's probably on the fucking list. Okay? But why would, again, this is on, you can try to deflect away from this as much as you want to, but this is not the promise made by Democrats. This was promises made by Donald Trump that he was going to release it. And don't you find it interesting that when he did that infamous Fox News interview when he said, oh yeah, I'll release RFK, MLK, blah, 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 no doubt about it. No one asked about Epstein. He's like, yeah, I mean, okay, sure. Yeah, we'll do that. So then he signs the executive order within days of becoming the presidency, RFK, MLK, JFK. Where's the executive order to unseal the stuff for Jeffrey Epstein? Why did that not happen? Why? Why did that not happen? So I don't know where this is going to go, but all these things are related, which is part of why I started the show today with my thoughts that I believe that he's going to be 25th. Because the tech bros have an agenda, and they know that he was just the means to an end because of his popularity with his cult, because they'll just believe anything he says. Because of his popularity, he became the useful idiot, the tool to kind of get them into the White House. And now J.D. Vance is their guy. He's the guy they want. So the question then becomes the introduction of legislation, right? So we know JD is worse. Well, it's not that JD is worse. It's the people behind the oligarch class. It's the dismantling of our democratic institutions from Project 2025 is the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation, JD is like handpicked by the Heritage Foundation, right? That's who they want. That's who they want as the president. So he isn't not necessarily worse. It's just that he becomes the match for everybody, he becomes the tip of the spear for the agenda that the Broligarch class has. What is that? Is something dripping? No. Oh, by the way, took the dog out for a walk last night, and we were within inches of a skunk. And thankfully, the dog didn't see him until I managed to pull the leash away, because otherwise it would have been a long and interesting night. Anyway, I digress. So now we know that Todd Blanche is seeking permission to go speak to Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't really know what's going to happen as far as that goes. Eve, or Eve, you want to come up for a brief? I could use a quick little break here, and we can talk about. So we're going to be doing another giveaway, guys. If we get enough subscribers by this Friday, we will. We're looking for 17 subscribers. We'll get 17 new subscribers between now and the end of the middle of the show on Friday. Then we can do another giveaway. So I'll be right back, guys. I'll just give you a little music to enjoy yourselves with. Hold on. Here, you can just listen to this. Be right back. Sorry, my bad. Okay. So what do we know now? What do we know? What we know now is that we've got numerous Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill wanting to have some conversations about said, transparency, so to speak. So you've got a growing number of them, including some of the names that you would not expect. This reporting from CBS affiliate Channel 4 in Washington. A growing number of lawmakers on Capitol Hill are calling for Ghislaine Maxwell, the former girlfriend of convicted co-conspirator of Epstein, to testify before Congress about the disgraced financier's alleged connection to powerful figures. Maxwell, who is currently appealing a 20-year prison sentence for her role, is seen by some as a key figure who could shed light on the case. Quote, she knows everything. She is the Rosetta Stone. She knows everything. She arranged every single trip with everybody. She knows everything. And if she were just given use immunity, she could be compelled to testify. That was Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's former lawyer. Okay. Representative Tim Burchett, of all people, from Tennessee, urged House Oversight Committee to question Maxwell after her appeals process is complete. Burchett said he sent a letter to the committee's chairperson to subpoena Maxwell. Quote, if we have to do it in a closed-door session, I'd say let's do it. But I believe we have to get her in front of the members and ask her what she knows. The Justice Department is facing pressure to unseal the grand jury testimony following criticism from influential Republican influencers and negative headlines over transparency, issues in the Epstein case, etc. Trump dismissed the so-called Epstein files as a hoax, questioning why Democrats are now interested in the case, given Epstein's passing in 2019. So we've talked about this, right? About how there's been bipartisan bills introduced. Thomas Massie, for one. So this is interesting. When you, again, not only follow the money, but you can tell very easily how angered and agitated Trump is by just the way in which words come out of his mouth on Truth Social. So he made a post about Thomas Massie, of all people. Thomas Massie, the worst Republican congressman in an almost guaranteed no vote each and every time, is an embarrassment to Kentucky. He capitalized embarrassment for some reason. Not all caps, but just capital E. He's lazy, slow-moving, and totally disingenuous. A real loser. Never has anything positive to add. Looking for someone good to run against this guy. Someone I can endorse and vigorously campaign for. Notice it's not a mention of the Epstein files, right? He doesn't mention that at all. He doesn't mention that one bit. Thomas Massie, along with Ro Khanna, the Democrat, co-sponsored a bill where 7 or 8 other Republicans signed on to that want transparency. The Transparency of the Epstein Files Act, whatever the hell it's called. We went through it yesterday. They just want everything and anything and everything, right? And like I said, if a bill like that made it to the floor of the House, then it should very easily be a 435-0 vote for full disclosure, right? Well, the problem is when you have Mike Johnson, who is the Speaker of the House, obviously, when he was asked about this, because on the 24th, so after the close of business on Thursday, the House is on recess until after Labor Day. So Mike Johnson was asked, like, okay, can we expedite this? Can we get to the floor of the House? And this is what Mike Johnson had to say.
He has said that he wants all the credible files related to Epstein to be released. He's asked the Attorney General to request the grand jury files of the court. All of that is in process right now. My belief is we need the administration to have the space to do what it is doing. And if further congressional action is necessary or appropriate, then we'll look at that. But I don't think we're at that point right now because we agree with the president.
So no vote on this resolution before.
No.
Wow. Okay. So the party that claims to be the most transparent is the least transparent. Should be simple, right? Should be very, very simple. And then you get people like Ron Johnson.
But I'd ask
that's JD. I'll talk about him in a moment because this is funny. Then you get people like Ron Johnson, who's been relatively quiet. You haven't heard much from him. Don't forget, he's the infamous guy who, when they were investigating January 6th on around that day, was trying to avoid taking questions from a reporter, pretending he was on his phone and his phone was off. Remember that? Ron Johnson, who was intended to be the recipient of the Green Bay sweep information regarding the fake electors plot. He was the guy that was tasked to have the information given to that he could then give to Mike Pence. Remember Ron Johnson? So this is Ron Johnson. And then again, we have to make assumptions now of so many people that could be connected to this fucking thing, because why would people want to dip their toe into the water of conspiracy theories at all as it relates to this? So this is Ron Johnson on the Epstein issue. This is fucking wild shit, man. Everybody keep tapping and sharing, please.
I don't know what's in the Epstein files. I do know that the Epstein files are in the custody of the Biden administration. I don't know to what extent they've added or deleted things. It's kind of amazing now. Democrats who did not want them released, now they want them released. So again, I'm a little concerned about chain of custody. I don't know anything about it. I'm as curious as anybody else. I'll let the process play out, but we should not hold $9 billion of spending reduction hostage for a debate over the Epstein files.
So, again, listen.
Again, I don't know what's in the Epstein files. I do know that the Epstein files are in the custody of the Biden administration. I don't know to what extent they've added or deleted things. It's kind of amazing now. Democrats who did not want them released, now they want them released. So again, I'm a little concerned about chain of custody. I don't know anything about it. I'm as curious as anybody else. I'll let the process play out, but we should not hold $9 billion of spending reduction hostage for a debate over the Epstein files.
You find me one Democrat that's not one of the Epstein files list released. Find me one. And by the way, information not in the hands of the Biden administration, was in the hands of the courts, right? Jeffrey Epstein went to jail in 2019. MAGA. Who was the president in 2019? Who was it? Yeah, that's right. It was that guy. Yeah. Okay. So now you've got, this is the attempt. This is what they're going to try to do. And this is why, again, I have strictly my own opinion, that the pressure from the tech bros to have Donald Trump 25th is real. It's real. I believe it's real. I believe that there is a lot of there because of things like that. Because Republicans in the Senate and in the House are sick of fucking talking about this. Think about this. They've since Inauguration Day, what have they had to deal with? They've had to deal with this ridiculous, stupid ass statements about windmills and everything else, and about the Liberation Day and driving the stock market into the shitter. All these other things that have happened, the battle with Elon Musk, Doge cuts, promises made, promises broken, the economy, the inflation going up, all these kinds of things. And then you get this stupid ass infighting, then you get Signalgate, you get Pete Hegseth, you get claims made about devastation, obliteration of the Iranian nuclear facility, and more, the further away we get from that, the more and more we're finding out from intelligence services around the world that no, that wasn't the case, severely damaged, but they're going to rebuild it. So all that, they're just dealing with all that shit. So the right, in particular, the Peter Thiels of the world, the tech bros, they want some stability. Now, I'm not saying the J.D. Vance is the answer, but in their mind, my mic is cutting out? I don't think so. That's what they want. They want this to move. They want this to move. So again, every single MAGA that's in here, and there's a lot of you. Can't you agree with us that you want everything released? Everything, every name. And again, this is the part to me that is the most confusing. Okay. The most difficult to understand. Think of it this way. I've seen many of you, by the way, late night in the TikTok space, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, because I don't sleep. When you are out, if you're doom scrolling, which I don't recommend at that time of the day, that's when you see a lot of the 9-box MAGA lives. And there was quite a few of them out there last night. Although I don't have there. If there's 9 people in the box, there's only 22 people in the live. So it's not like they're, drawing in a big crowd. But they have convinced themselves that all the names that they want on the list, like they want Obama on the list, they want Clinton on the list, and I believe that Clinton is on the list, and others, all the elites, the Hollywood celebrities, that they believe all those people are on the list. There are really hardly any, if any, photographs of Jeffrey Epstein with any of those people. There are dozens of photographs of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. There's the birthday book. There's the statements made. There's witness testimony. But so all of those people are guilty of these horrible crimes against children, but Donald Trump isn't. Like, that is desperation. Because remember that fork in the road, liberals are right, I support a child predator. It's a tough call for you guys to make, isn't it? It's a really, really, really tough call. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Good morning, Milk. How are you today?
Howdy. I'm good.
What's on your mind?
Well, you're up here. Your background's a little funny looking.
Just tell them that it doesn't exist. They'll believe anything?
Yeah, that seems a little dishonest.
Do you believe that Donald Trump is on the Epstein list?
Hell yeah.
Do you think he's on it?
Yeah, the guy's a known creep. No shit, he's on it.
Did you vote for him?
Hell yeah.
So you know he's a creep and you still voted for him?
Yeah, he was a stronger candidate than Kamala.
So let me get this straight. You know that he's a creep. You know that he's a child predator. And you decided that was going to be a vote that you would support? Is that right?
Listen, in 2024, the country
That's not the question I asked. That's not the country. No, that's not the question. No, the question I'm asking is that you know that he's a creep. You know that he's a child predator. And you decided that was a better choice than Kamala Harris.
So not every question, right, is a yes or no answer. I'm giving you an answer to the question, right? In 2024, right, we needed a strong male leader, right?
A strong male leader. Got it. Can you remind? Got it. So let's reset.
Well, hold on now. Okay, I didn't cut you off.
No, let's just start. Hold on. Let's just start again. What did you have for breakfast today?
I haven't eaten breakfast yet.
Nobody fucking cares. Wow. Okay. Damn. Okay, that's what they get. Hi, Misty. How are you today? Misty, are you there? Misty? Misty, you're muted. Hi, Misty. Okay. I guess not. It's just wild. Damn. Corey, how are you today?
Hey, I'm pretty good.
What's on your mind?
Have you ever stopped just to think? I know Trump's a horrible person. I think anybody with a rational brain can agree on that. But have you ever stopped to think, and I'm sure you have, that Kamala was such a poor choice, such a poor option?
So in your mind, what made Kamala a poor choice?
I did not think that she ever sounded like she fully grasped the job at hand. I'm not saying Trump did, but she just did not.
It was a feeling. It was a feelings thing for you.
No,
it was a feelings thing for you.
It was just apparent.
It was a feeling
to most of Americans.
Well, no, that's not true. So again, the question is, so it's a feelings thing for you. You can say that, Corey. We're unpacking this, right? It's a feelings thing for you. Did you bother to read any of her policies at all?
She wasn't in a capacity to run anything.
Yes or no?
Now, and I know you dislike people who disagree with you. Well, how do you know?
And it's not about liking. You're the one that made the claim, though, not me.
Yeah, my point is, anybody should have been able to beat Donald Trump. Donald Trump is such a poor choice for president that any sane, rational, normal, kind of average candidate should have been able to beat Donald Trump. But the Dems got so hung up on Kamala, they just missed the mark. Don't take my word for it. I mean, you can't. Your goal is to modify the future.
Corey, I don't disagree that the Dems made a lot of missteps. I'm not a fan of this traditional moderate Democrats. I don't disagree. But for you to say that she wasn't qualified is just ridiculous. She's the most qualified person to ever run for the presidency, and that's not opinion. That is just fact. Attorney General, District Attorney, Senator, Vice President. Again, the reason that she lost, we can unpack that for days, but you called it out. The fact that people in our country, just like our previous guest, decided that I'm going to vote for a child predator and a pathetic creep over a black woman.
It had nothing to do with her being female and nothing to do with her being black.
Yeah, it had everything to do with that.
Any of her interviews?
No, it had everything to do with that, Corey. It had everything to do with that.
That's
what did you? Well, let's
narrative.
What did you have for breakfast today?
There you go. Okay.
Nobody fucking cares. Like, really? Dolphins in the harbor, right? Can you imagine? I mean, we are now, right? We're 9 months out from the election, and people are still trying to say that, well, I was left with a choice, and I know about this guy, and I know how much of a creep he is, but Kamala Harris brought nothing to the table. 99.999% of the people that said that never bothered to read any of her policies. 99.999% of those people are misogynistic and racists, period. They couldn't bring themselves to vote for a black woman. Members of the Democratic Party couldn't bring themselves to vote for a black woman. The most qualified person to ever run for the presidency. Can you imagine being so unbelievably scared, soft, and weak that you could not, at this point, you can't admit your mistake? That you can't just admit your mistake. It is so sad. I'm not going to say sad. It is what it is, but this is where we are. Good morning, Andy.
Hey, how's it going? Long time no see.
Excellent. Yeah, how are you?
Doing good. I hopped on the live a couple minutes ago, but oh my God, the characters that you had on this morning, especially that one guy who thought, just needed a stronger male leader. That's just like point blank misogyny. I mean, it doesn't get much clearer than that.
Nope.
But yeah, to the prompt, like it's just pretty clear that, absolutely MAGA will believe anything that they're told. And it's just ridiculous. But so far, like at this point, I was even having a conversation about this with my family the other day. Because most of my mom's side of the family, they voted for Trump. And that's because my mom lived through a dictatorship in the home country where she's from. And she knows a dictatorship and an autocracy when she sees it. And this is basically...
And she voted for Trump?
No, she did not vote for Trump.
I thought you said she voted for Trump. I was like, okay, wow. All right.
No. My mom is way past smarter than that. And it's just like, but other members of the extended family on my mom's side, my cousin once removed, he had a father that brainwashed him into thinking that Pinochet, the dictator in Chile, was the greatest thing, and that it's the same thing with Trump. He's a great Christian, this and that. And it's like, please spare me. Because if like you can't see past like all the fucked up shit that he's done at this point, you are so far gone, and I want like nothing to do with you as my family member at this point. And I just basically said, look, this is my line in the sand. If you truly say that you regret your vote, and this is the point that I'm trying to get at, if you truly regret your vote, I'm not cutting it off at just voting in 2026 and then 2028. Are you willing to acknowledge that you fucked up, make the changes, and then not do the same thing over again? And are you willing to be a part of the movement? Are you willing to be a part of, willing to stand up for marginalized communities? Are you willing to understand people that are being affected by this? It's bigger stuff like that doesn't just stop at voting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to unpack this for decades. The Trump era, from a political science perspective, will be studied and studied and studied and studied, and hopefully, the people who study it will realize that this could happen again if we're not careful. But I appreciate you jumping in today, Andy. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Same to you. Thank you. Bye.
See you later. All right, bye. All right, I've got a few more people that have requested. Let's see if I can get to a few more guests here. I see Jen requested.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's really eye-opening. It's shocking how far the bar has fallen for so many of these Trump supporters who are now, like, as a survivor of assault, they said, well, it was civil, and he lied. Well, not everybody lies. Now all of a sudden we're okay with child abuse. That bar.
I know.
We're lowering the bar down now that we're okay with him being in the Oval Office as a child abuser. I just don't understand. It's like a decay of moral values in the United States, and that is really scary.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that has existed for a very, very long time. I think Trump just gave people a mouthpiece. Like, he was the one that said it publicly. He said what many people think. There was a lot of closeted misogynist racists before. Now they're just out loud and proud. I mean, for anybody to make a statement like our previous guest said that, Kamala didn't do much for me. I know Trump's a creep and a predator. I'll support that. Those same people who are claiming that Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton were part of a global cabal of P3ophilia, and that Joe Biden was doing this and Joe Biden was doing that. Those same people clamoring for all these investigations into people who are harming kids. Got to protect the kids. I care about kids. Pro-life. And now, when faced with their entire world crashing around them, they're still doubling down. They just don't care.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say one more thing, and I know you're busy, but I'm a 100% Ashkenazi Jew. My family had to flee Eastern Europe during World War II. The other thing that has just shocked me to the core is the alligator Alcatraz, and how they, when you bring up, it's a sea camp. Oh my God, how can you compare it? And when you talk to these people about it, they still, no matter the definition, no matter how much you explain it, no matter you tell them the accusations that are coming out of there, they still defend putting people in sea camps. And it is so scary, and it is so grotesque that this is happening in the United States. And it's even more grotesque that people are okay with it.
Yeah, I think the deeper, well, like you said, there's no bar. They're now many of them are realizing that, yeah, he's likely on the list, and they still would vote for him.
Yeah.
So thanks for jumping in today, Jen. Appreciate
thanks,
you.
Bye.
Talk to you later. All right, got it. Bye. It is pretty wild, right? It is pretty wild. That's how far we have fallen. It doesn't surprise us. I mean, we know this, obviously. But they have to wear it, which is why we're going to talk about it. Which is why we are going to talk about it. Motown, how are you today? Motown, I can barely hear you. Too much background noise. Sorry, couldn't do it. See a couple people in here. What's this? They're under attack. File from be informed. Why is there? Yeah, bluntly, I'm not going to bother bringing. Well, I'll just do it real quick and see how this goes. Probably not going to end well. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Fine. What's on your mind?
No, I mean, I pretty much just kind of agree with the prompt. I am guessing, are you more left-leaning?
Definitely.
Okay, I would say I'm more right-leaning, but I definitely think we can still come to a common ground because I think Trump obviously doesn't appeal to the left, but I also think currently he's doing very poorly at appealing to his side as well.
So do you believe that he's on the list?
Yes.
Did you believe that he was on the list before?
No, I genuinely didn't.
You didn't believe that he had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and you didn't think that there was any possibility that he might have been connected and caught up in all that?
No, I think that I honestly, I can admit that I had probably believed the lies that he had said. And, in the last half year, my eyes have been a lot more open to specifically Trump and, how I think he's kind of more willing to do stuff for PR than willing to do stuff for the American people who voted for him.
And so you voted for him in 2024?
Yes.
Okay. So you knew of lots of other things connected to him, but you made a let me finish. Let me ask my question.
Fair.
But you still made a conscious choice to vote for him.
And again, I'm only, 22 years old. So a lot of this stuff I had never been exposed to before. And, as I've been exposed to it, I've realized this isn't who we voted for. This isn't who, the right wing people, really thought was going to happen. And, I've had conversations with lots of people, and kind of like you had said earlier, the common response is, well, Kamala did this, well, Biden did this. And I think that's, it's just projecting. It's a horrible way to look at it. And, I don't think just because Kamala did something so bad or Biden did something so bad that justifies something like this.
So you're right. So I guess the burden would fall to you, right? So I think you're admitting that you were a woefully misinformed voter. So you voted off of your feelings, likely.
Right? I wouldn't say. I think two things can be true at the same time. There are specific reasons why if I could go back and change it, I definitely wouldn't vote. I don't think my other option would have been voting for the Democratic Party, just because, like I had acknowledged earlier, our views don't necessarily line up on certain issues. So I probably would have abstained from voting, but it does surprise me how so many people.
All right, let's unpack this a second. Let's try to unpack this. So, what from a policy perspective? Not even asking from a policy perspective. What are your priorities?
I would say immigration was definitely one of them. That was my first priority.
Okay, where do you live?
I live in Illinois.
Okay, and how does immigration affect you?
Well, you have people essentially that come down from the Canadian border, but just because I might not necessarily see the same effects as somebody in Texas, that doesn't mean that I should be, oblivious to something like that. So it doesn't affect you. No, it does. It affects everybody that's in America. Immigration affects absolutely everybody.
Okay, well, I disagree. How does it affect you?
How would it not affect me? There's definitely illegal immigrants that are living in Illinois right now, and every state. But how does that affect you? Right. Well, because I live in a border state as well, but I live in the northern border state. Right. And immigration does not impact my life in any way other than the fact that I care about human rights. So I'm asking you, how does immigration? I don't want rhetoric. I don't want what the right wing has been telling you. I want you to try to unpack it from a critical thinking perspective to say, okay, this is how immigration affects me. Well, you have people that, come in and essentially lower wages. Like when Trump's saying things like, why do you have some questionable videos on your page, by the way? What do you mean questionable? Why? I'm just wondering why you have some very, very questionable. There's some interesting imagery you have on your page. We can unpack that, but do you want me to finish talking about what I was saying, or would you like to move to that?
Well, I'm just wondering where your priorities are. So again, let me.
Immigration is absolutely my number one priority, I would say.
Right, but you've not been able to answer to me. You've not been able to answer to me how it affects you. I don't want rhetoric. I don't want rhetoric. I just want you to tell me how it affects you, because I answered. If I was asked the question, it doesn't affect me. It does not affect my day-to-day life. It doesn't. And I think you know the answer. It doesn't affect your day-to-day life. So you voted for something that you were told was important.
You don't think just because you're in a northern state that there's not a possibility that things from arising issues such as illegal immigration could eventually affect you?
I could possibly get hit by lightning tomorrow. Doesn't mean I'm going to be afraid to walk outside.
Right, but there's also a difference between not knowing if you're going to get hit by lightning. You don't know where it's going to strike, versus if you continue to have an influx of immigrants, obviously some of them are going to move to northern regions of the states. I think that's pretty self-explanatory to say.
So from what I'm hearing, and based on your graphic, your PFP, and some of the things that you've posted, I get the sense that you're a white nationalist. Do you want to admit that publicly?
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a fully white nationalist. I think there's definitely an importance of, can I finish what I'm saying?
So, no. Can you tell me what you had for breakfast?
I haven't ate breakfast.
Nobody fucking cares. I don't platform white nationalists. Can you imagine, like, I know I saw it. Can you imagine having so much hatred in your heart at 22 years old? Can you imagine? You don't have the ability to recognize it. Wow. You can find somebody else to speak to. I don't platform white nationalists. I just don't do it. Just don't do it. Everybody, I want to thank Dana and also Michelle for kicking off our $2 challenge today. If you want to participate, you can do so. All the pay apps are in my bio. Midnight, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How about you?
Doing fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I think that we need to be honest in this country. First of all, let me answer the prompt. I absolutely, entirely, 100% believe the prompt. Not even believe. I know it's true because it's what I see every day. We all see it. Correct?
Correct.
So I think the number one problem is a lot of people are not being honest or genuine in these conversations. We don't talk about how the sins of this country have ultimately come back to bite this country in the ass and poison it. And nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to acknowledge it. That's the reason why we can still sit here and say these ridiculous things about women in leadership positions when it's been seen all over the world that women can lead and lead efficiently. It's not about your gender. It's about what's in your head, what's in your heart, and the people around you that are helping you lead. So Kamala absolutely 100% was the most qualified candidate to ever run. And that's saying a lot because Hillary and Elizabeth Warren were two of the most
agreed
qualified candidates in history. And honestly, I really wanted Elizabeth Warren because she was a tough candidate that her bite was just as big as her bark, in my opinion. But that's just me. We don't talk about how racism and white supremacy and white nationalism have ultimately shaped this country and the citizens' minds into dividing the country into two different perspectives. For the most part, I would say. I think that we really need to talk about the real history of this country, why we're at where we're at, so we can actually reconcile all of this bullshit and then move on for the better. Because that's the only way I think America's going to make it out in one piece. If we are completely honest about and transparent about the divisiveness, the hate, and also the incorrect the wrong way of approaching treason in this country, right? Because a lot of this started right after the Civil War, during the Reconstruction era. People just wanted to slap the South's hand on the wrist. And in doing so, the South got leverage and decided to start doing things like forming the Dixiecrats. Granted, you'll have a lot of conservatives that don't agree, but it's true. You can look at the data, you can look at the history, and you can see the flip between Republicans and Democrats.
Yep.
And then
Southern
we failed to do it again.
We know this.
Yep, and the Daughters of the Confederacy, because they are the direct reason why the school systems are teaching these kids lies about the history of this country. The only time that we've gotten treason kind of right, or like avoided this, was around World War II, when we almost elected a Nazi as president. Or a Schnazi, excuse me. TikTok.
Yeah, that's, sorry, you bring up some interesting points, right? I mean, I think something you said early on about how, we've got to be able to talk about our real history. Well, that's what the right, conservatives in general, don't want. That's the exact reason they don't want to talk about the history. We discuss it regularly here about history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Not only do we have comparisons to what we're seeing now to, other elements in world history, but our own history. Not wanting to talk about chattel slavery, not wanting to talk about Jim Crow, not want to talk about what you just discussed about how they say, well, the Democrats, party that started the Triple K. Well, what party does Triple K support now? So those are the reasons that they don't want to have these conversations. No one wants to speak. No one wants to address I shouldn't say no one, but a large chunk of the population of our country just wants to forget those things happened. You got white supremacies that are all about the Great Replacement theory. They are all in. They do not want immigration because they're afraid they're going to lose their status. And the demographics and the population shifts tell us that that's the case.
Which is crazy.
I know. Midnight, I appreciate you jumping in today. I just followed you. Just real quick. Go ahead. Just go ahead and finish up. Go for it.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
My pleasure, man. I just followed you. Please come back. I appreciate you being here.
No,
have a good day, all right?
No, will do. Thank you.
You got it. See you later. It's a conversation that we're all desperate to have, right? Like, these are the reasons that we want to teach these things. This is why opinions like that our guest this morning have had about how, well, Kamala's not qualified. Kamala is what they say. She's not qualified. That's just pure misogyny and racism. There's no denying that, because if you were an objective thinker, if you had the ability to look past your own hatred, I want people to go through this exercise. If you were to remove the names, the party affiliation, the gender, just lay out their accomplishments side by side and what their proposals are and what their plans are for America, Kamala Harris would have won in a cakewalk. But because conservative Democrats and elitist entitled fucking leftists, because y'all got too hung up on Kamala's policies towards Palestine, you're responsible for some of this shit. So you all can miss me with your I stand with marginalized communities. No, you fucking don't. Many of you who are in those communities decided you're going to run. I didn't vote. I didn't exercise my voice. Well, now I'm going to leave. So fuck all y'all. Seriously. I am so tired. I'm not going to coddle that bullshit any fucking more. Anymore. I'm not going to coddle it. You had your chance. You walk out there. You'll go to every rally. I respect your activism. But when the time comes to vote, you said, nope, can't do it. Really? Okay. That's fine. That's totally fine. You do you. Good morning, Chris. How are you today?
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Doing all right. What's going on?
Yeah, so the last kid that was up there, the 22-year-old, I mean, let's be honest about it. All of these little red pills that come up here and say that they are for the immigration policy that Donald Trump put out. They didn't give two shits about and not even just the kids. None of them did. The problem with MAGA is that they are all bumper sticker voters. That's what they are. They don't read.
They are.
They don't know any of Kamala's policies. They can't because they don't read them.
You're right, Chris. And we talk about this often about how bumper sticker politics is how you win elections, though.
That's true.
You know, I mean, from a marketing and a strategy perspective, talk about the power of three. Think about some of the most effective ad campaigns that we've ever had. Just do it. Where's the beef? Be like Mike. Those things resonate. So when you have stop the steal, lock her up, all those kinds of things, that is power. That appeals to emotion. That fires up the amygdala in our brain. And that's what people, yes, we can. Good one, Warner. That's what people gravitate to. And I've always said this from a political strategy perspective, talking about human rights is boring. It doesn't fire. We'd like to think that it fires people up more than it does, but it just doesn't.
No, and what fired him up was Trump demonizing an entire population of people. And let's go a step further. Not just demonizing a population of people, but a population of brown people. And that's what it was.
Correct.
No one is saying anything about the South Africans coming in or Canada or anybody else flying into this country who is not brown.
Exactly.
And that's what he said. They're all criminals, all of them. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I know.
So that's the part where I can't get on board with my important issue was immigrate. No, it wasn't. The only reason you care about it is because Donald Trump told you to. That's the only reason, and you need to look in the mirror. All right.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Chris. I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Brother.
Appreciate you. He's right. I mean, we know this. We can unpack this. And you guys have known I talk about safety, affordability, accountability, safety, and affordability. Right? There's many things that we can use, but that needs to be a strategy shift. And I don't have faith in the DNC. I do not have faith in moderate Democrats. I want to know why Hakeem Jeffries, who takes a lot of money from AIPAC, has not gone out and fully endorsed Zohran Mamdani for the mayor of New York. Why is that? Explain that, Hakeem. The voters in New York have said, we want a different direction. You represent New York in the House. You're a prominent figure in Democratic politics in our nation right now. You got a lot of money from AIPAC. A lot. So why are you not coming out in support of Zohran Mamdani? Then we'll draw our conclusion. Where are you, Hakeem? You're not the leader I thought you were. Where are you? Where are you? And this is what we are talking about, right? This is about how that Dems need to stop being moderate. I agree. Dems need to stop being moderate. Listen, I'm a pragmatic progressive, okay? What that means is I am convicted when it comes to my beliefs. You guys have heard me talk about it. I believe that every human being on earth has the right to health care, food, water, and shelter. And then everything else comes from there. Like in our country, I believe we should have universal health care, overfund public education, firearm reform, overturn Citizens United, constitutional amendment that changed the 2A, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the progressive policies that I stand by. I also know pragmatically that I need a vehicle. So I look at the Democratic Party, Victoria's talked about this, as public transportation, right? They are the ones that will get me closest to where I want to go. Economic policies are better, but not as much as I'd like. Approach to human rights and public health and public safety are better. Taxation, better. The economy does better under Democrats. There's no denying it. It's not even opinion anymore. It's just fact. But I can't get what I want until we elect more down ballot progressives, which again is why I say to entitled leftists who didn't fucking show up in the last election. Because of what? Because of Palestine? What do you got now? What do you have now? And then a lot of you are running. So I'll listen right now. If you're a leftist and you support the things that we talk about here, like if you support human rights and women's rights to their body and protections for marginalized communities, if you support those things, great. And you are also some of the same people that didn't show up to vote in 2024 because of a particular issue, then you can get the fuck out too. Pack your fucking shit. I'm not interested in talking to you. Pack your shit. I'm done. I'm done coddling you. I'm not going to try to smooth things over. You had your opportunity. You can't go out there. You cannot go out there and claim that you support all these things and then not show up. And what makes it worse is that many of you in your entitled spaces are now leaving the country. Good. Turn off the lights when you leave. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Okay. A lot of folks in the guest box today. I'll try to get to as many people as I can. A few more things to cover off on, but people want to talk, so we'll talk. Good morning, Rue. Rue, are you there? I guess not. Okay. Right, AB. Rico, how are you today?
Hey, I'm all right. Good morning.
How's it going?
I'm all right. Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on some stuff because I'm 41 years old, living in South Florida, and like I love all human beings, and it's a different world down here, especially with the Cuban community, and seeing how they supported Trump, only to now cry about it, how they've gotten backstabbed. Not only the Cuban community, also the Venezuelan community as well. And from day one, I noticed Trump's whole agenda. It's almost like he followed Hitler's game plan step by step.
The H man. Much. F1 in the chat, please. Yeah, just be careful of the words.
Sorry.
That's
I'm
right.
so sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So, after noticing that, I kind of told some of my friends and gave them a heads up like, hey, I don't think this guy is, mean well. And everyone laughed at me. And now everything the whole, scare tactic, all this and that. And now the C camp. And it's like, it's play by play. Like, it's almost like, it's in our face and they don't care anymore. And everyone is noticing it, but they're just keeping silence. And it's almost like everyone is scared to speak up. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, yeah. Many are, but I would say the opposite is true as well. Many people feel emboldened by sharing their racism and their bigotry and their transphobia and their homophobia, et cetera, because the president says it publicly every single day, right? He just comes out and says whatever the fuck's on his mind, and that's why they love him so much, because he says whatever's on his mind, even though what's on his mind is racism, bigotry, corruption, criminality, et cetera.
Yeah, that makes no sense, because if that made sense, then the internet would make sense also, because the way the internet is ran, it's almost like there's no rules and everyone just speaks their mind. And you see how the internet is right now. It's just a bunch of chaos. Everyone just saying nonsense and, people are just going with it. But nonetheless, all I wanted to say pretty much, I like what you're doing. Keep it up. And you got my follow.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Rico. Thanks for being here, friend. Have a good day.
No problem. You too.
See you later. Okay. It's a fair point. I mean, all these communities, right? All these communities that are, I don't know if they're going to have a reckoning, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So I think we've got a few more folks that have requested here. There are a few more things I want to get to. We can certainly dive into some of our conversation today. Everybody keep tapping and sharing. Again, also Allison, thank you for your $2.11. That's an interesting number. For doing this every day. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Allison. I appreciate you. Maureen, how are you today?
Hi, I'm 68 and I'm from Arkansas.
Okay,
and
thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I agree with everything you say, except for we cannot we got to stop being angry with the Democrats that didn't vote. We got to stop being angry at the Democrats that voted for Trump, because we need them. We need them in order to get rid of what's in the White House right now.
No, we actually, I'll challenge that, Maureen. So those people who voted for Trump made a conscious choice. They made a conscious. Hold on, let me finish. They made a conscious choice. They knew who he was, what he stood for, what was going to happen, and they still decided to go out and vote. So no, we don't need them. I'm not interested.
There's so many people that did not understand exactly what he was going to do, even though they thought a lot of what he said was BS, because he does say a lot of BS, and they were conflicted. They didn't know Kamala Harris that well. They knew what they were going to get with Trump, so they made the wrong choice. And
but whose fault whose fault is it that they didn't? Well, whose fault is it that they didn't know what Kamala Harris stood for? Whose fault was that?
It's their fault. It's their fault. But the thing is that my thing is that like you, I love everybody. I love every American, no matter what they believe in, even though they may believe in some really awful stuff. I still love them. I don't
love everyone, Maureen, in that regard. I don't love people who are outwardly white supremacists and or transphobic and or bigoted and or racist. I don't love those people.
I don't like them. I don't like what they do.
I don't love them. Why should I give them any of my time?
I come from a Christian background, and what I've been taught is that you love everybody, no matter who they are. And
but let's try to look at it a little bit logically, though, Maureen.
Okay.
Do you love someone who is a child predator?
No.
Good. I'm glad. So you don't love everyone.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Don't allow your what you've been conditioned through your faith. Don't allow the conditioning of your faith to blind you. Because no, you don't owe grace to people who abuse children. No. You don't owe grace to wife beaters, people who assault women. You don't owe grace to anybody like that. You don't. Yeah. You don't. So therefore, people who knew, especially independents, people who knew exactly who this person was and made that conscious choice to vote for him because they didn't get a great vibe from Kamala Harris, we don't need them. We don't need them. They don't deserve our grace. They are partly responsible for the situation that we are in now. Those same communities that they say that they support are being directly harmed because of their lack of participation in our democracy.
I see what you're saying, but I still think that the people that have realized the mistake that they made, we need them back in the fold. Forgiveness is not a gift that you give someone else. It's actually a gift that you give to yourself. It lets go of whatever pain or pain that they've caused you. It's not your pain to hold, it's theirs. So you give it back to them when you forgive them. So we've got to get those people back and forgive them, and we have to start working on getting MAGA to see exactly what he's doing, because our nation is turning into a banana republic. I mean, we have gone so far down. I don't know how. I don't know how we're going to get back.
Well, I think you and I fundamentally disagree on a pretty big thing, Maureen. I have no interest in breaking bread with people who identify as Yahtzees. I have no interest in breaking bread for people who, hold on, I'm not done. Hold on. I have no interest in breaking bread with anybody who decided that they had a choice to make between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, and they knew everything about Donald Trump, and these people that claim to be independents and are free thinkers and are progressives and whatever else, and they said, because of Kamala Harris's stance on Israel, I'm not going to vote. I have no room. There's too many things that are so much more important by getting new voters to the poll. For people to understand that as members of our country, in our democratic system of government, our representative democracy, our constitutional republic requires activism. We need voters. For people who want to come to that conclusion on their own, all that information is there. That's not on me. So I disagree that even you disagree now that you don't love everybody. You certainly shouldn't. You certainly shouldn't. You need, my recommendation, Maureen, is to try to deconstruct a little bit, because I appreciate you have, an empathetic heart and you want people to try to find some common ground. But can we find common ground with Yahtzees? Can we find common ground with child predators?
No.
Can we find common ground with rapists?
No.
No, exactly. But thanks for being here today. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
It's not that hard a question. It's really not. It's not that hard a question. Mr. Drums, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Can you hear me?
I can. What's on your mind?
So, I'm interested in speaking with you. I am a Trump supporter. Are you willing to speak to me on this matter?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm looking where to start first.
Let me just try to level set. Let me just try to level set a couple things. Did you vote for him all three times? 2016, 2020, 2024?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I have a couple of rules. If you make a claim about something, the burden of proof is on you to back it up with a citable source, and you don't answer a question with a question. Fair enough?
Great. No, that's not an issue.
Okay.
I'm just wondering where to start first here. So you say the word democracy, our democracy. Okay.
Yeah.
What is your definition of democracy?
Well, you know what the definition of democracy is. I mean, the question is, do you not believe that America is a democracy?
I don't. It's a constitutional republic.
Right. Okay. Well, it's actually by definition, it's a democratic constitutional republic. The reason it's a democracy is because let me finish. Mara said we don't interrupt. Mm-hmm. We elect people to vote on our behalf. So we are, by definition, a constitutional republic is a form of democracy. You vote for people who represent you. So by definition, we are a representative democracy and a constitutional republic.
So we are a constitutional republic with a democratic process. Okay.
Yeah, that would be democracy, a representative democracy. That's how that works.
It's not the fundamental established government.
No, sir. Again, we're not going to spend 10 minutes on this conversation. We are a representative democracy, which means we elect people who vote on our behalf, and a constitutional republic. A republic is a form of democracy. Okay. So we're not going to go back and forth on it. I've studied this forever. I'm not going to. I don't prescribe to the whole "we're not a democracy" theory. It's just a nonsense conversation. It's nonsense. So tell me why you voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump because I believe in everything that he believes in.
You believe in what?
So let's discuss something else.
Dismantling the Constitution?
He's not dismantling it.
He's not?
No, he's not.
Okay, so he's not dismantling it. So let's talk about the First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th, and 22nd Amendment. Want to talk about those?
Let's go ahead. The First Amendment.
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, so what is the First Amendment?
It's free speech.
And?
The right to free speech.
And?
And what?
Do you think that's the only thing that's in the First Amendment?
I haven't read it, so go ahead and tell me what's in the First
Amendment. So you don't know what's in the First Amendment of the Constitution?
Sir, if you don't believe in the First Amendment, go ahead and say so.
I'm asking you, do you know what's in the First Amendment? It's a simple question.
I haven't read it. I mean, didn't I just say that? I was speaking English when I said it, didn't I?
So then so it's easy for you then to say that you don't believe that Trump is dismantling the Constitution when you don't even know what's in it.
Sir, the reason why I brought up democracy in the first place was because The difference between democracy and a republic is a democracy is where you have 51% of the people who control the other 49%, and that's not what our government is supposed to be doing.
You're just absolutely wrong about that. So you're wrong. So again, like I said, no, you're wrong. A constitutional republic. No, you are wrong. A constitutional republic is. You are wrong. A constitutional republic. You are. You can either shut up. You can either shut up or leave.
Sir, you and I are having. I'm trying to have a conversation.
Then stop interrupting me.
Not an argument.
Then stop interrupting. Okay, a constitutional republic is a constitutional republic is a form of democracy. When we go, do we have elections in our country?
We do.
Okay, so then do we elect people that represent us?
Okay, but we also have.
Answer my question. Do we elect people who represent us?
We do.
Therefore, we are a representative democracy, which is also a constitutional republic. Anyway, the First Amendment is the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom to petition against government for grievances, and freedom to peacefully assemble. Those are the elements of the First Amendment. There are dozens of examples of Donald Trump, first of all, removing credentials for press agencies. That'd be violation of freedom of the press. Saying you're going to lock up students on campuses if they peacefully assemble and or recognize their speech. Those are violations of the First Amendment. Telling people who he does not like that they should be arrested. Calling news agencies in our country illegal. Those are all violations of the First Amendment. The Fourth Amendment, which entitles us to due process. The Fifth Amendment, which means that we have protections under the law. All persons are protected. The 14th Amendment includes the right to birthright citizenship. He's literally gone to the Supreme Court asking them to change the law. The 12th Amendment, which guarantees presidential succession. The 22nd Amendment speaks to the fact that the president can only run for 2 terms. These are all things he's attempting to challenge. Now, are you unaware of this? Because that would be so sad that you claim that he doesn't care or does not want to dismantle the Constitution when you don't even know what's in the Constitution.
I think you're overstepping a little bit in the sense that
I really
believe. Yes, I really believe.
How?
Well, I'm about to tell you. I really believe that you are misrepresenting the facts of what Donald Trump is actually doing.
Sir, you don't even know what was in the First Amendment, and you're accusing me of misrepresenting the facts?
Okay, let's go with the immigrants for a moment. Okay.
No, we're not. I will direct the conversation. You didn't even know what's in the First Amendment, and you accuse me of misrepresenting the facts? How is that possible? When you don't even know what's in it.
Okay, hold on a second. You're going a million miles an hour. Let's just stop for a second and go.
Try to keep up. I know I'm smarter than you. Just try to keep up. Again, how did I misrepresent anything when you didn't even know it was in the First Amendment?
You're saying that he's a Nazi. For crying out loud.
He is.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Really?
That's ridiculous. Yes.
Why? So why do you think that that's a stretch?
Well, first of all, the Nazis were Democrats.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, Hitler was a Democrat, dude.
No, he wasn't, dude.
He was, dude.
No, he wasn't, dude. He's a full-on fascist, just like this guy.
Donald Trump is not a fascist.
Really? So what's fascism?
Well, he's not a dictator.
Okay, what is fascism?
He's not a dictator.
What is fascism?
Fascism is where you're accusing him of taking over a country and running it the way he wants it instead of the will of the people.
What is fascism?
What's your definition of fascism?
I asked you. Remember, we don't answer questions with questions. You agreed. What is fascism?
I don't know. You tell me.
So you don't know?
Well, go ahead and explain it.
So you're conceding that you don't know?
Explain it or don't explain it.
Far right authoritarianism. My gosh, dude.
You don't know what's in basically what I just said.
No, you didn't say that at all. So do you know what the 14 tenets of fascism are?
I just said. You just said it in
No, it's not even close to what you said.
Oh, okay.
Far right authoritarianism. Do you believe in authoritarianism?
I do not.
You don't?
No.
Really? No. Do you know what the 14 tenets of fascism are?
I haven't read that, no.
So you really don't know much, do you?
I know more than you think I do.
In what area? How to sort your marbles?
You won't really let me speak on it, so.
Well, you didn't know what was in the first. You didn't know what was in the First Amendment. You didn't know what the definition of fascism was. You are convinced that America is not a democracy. So, what do you know? Where is your experts? Where is your expertise?
So, hold on. I'm asking you. I wanted to get into a specific conversation about the immigrants for a moment, and you wouldn't let me go there. Why not?
Because this is not your live, sir. We're trying to level set on a few things.
You allowed me to come on to talk to you, but you won't let me talk to you about what I really wanted to talk to you about.
No, because you said that you were aware. When I made the credible claim that I backed up with actual evidence about Donald Trump dismantling the Constitution, you said, no, he's not. And I said, I'll give you some examples. And I said, well, what's in the First Amendment? And you didn't know. So I don't think you're prepared for this conversation. That's what I think.
So let's go. So you want to talk about authoritarianism? Let's go with something like the shots, the COVID shots. Did you get a COVID shot?
Absolutely. You did not?
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
Why not? Why not?
Because that was authoritarianism. That right
really?
There,
did you have a choice?
I had a choice, but
and you chose not to. And you had a choice. And you had a choice not to.
Sure, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people were told that they would lose their jobs or kicked out of the military.
If they did not get that shot. Right. So do you think the military has ever had to get vaccinated before mandated?
That is a form of authoritarianism.
Can I? Let me. I'm going to dunk on you right now. You ready? So do you think that the military? Do you think? Here we go. It's going to be easy. So do you think the military has ever had to get mandated shots in the past?
Maybe they have. I don't know. I'm not in the military.
You don't know that? Okay. So stand by 1 second. Okay. Just stand by. I'm going to bring up a veteran. I'm not a vet. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not a vet.
I'm not either.
Because then you shouldn't speak to it. So that's why I'm not going to. So I'm going to bring a veteran up here, and he can tell you about the protocols specifically as it relates to vaccinations. Because if you are really walking around thinking that this is the first time that members of the United States military has ever had to get vaccinated, then I don't know what you're talking about. Do you know what GI stands for?
The first time that ever happened.
Do you know what GI stands for?
Go ahead, tell me.
Government issued, which means that they are the property of the United States government. They get to dictate. Obi, I'm going to drop you. Request again, buddy. That means that they get mandated. So do you work for a company?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have policies in your company?
I'm sure they do. Yes, absolutely.
So then the policy of that particular company, a privately held company, to say you either vaccinate or wear a mask. Do you have a problem with that?
Yes.
Okay. So if a company said you can't put a picture up, you can't hang a Christmas tree in your cubicle, do you have a problem with that?
Yeah, I mean it's their environment, so yeah, I guess I would follow that. I would follow that.
Well, then there you go. Then there you go. So it's fine if it fits your narrative, but if otherwise it's not.
You're telling me that let's just say whatever my job is and whatever company I work for, they say, look, you have to get this shot or else you can't keep your job. You're telling me I should just get the shot and just blindly just allow somebody to
No, I'm telling you that you have a choice. I'm telling you that you have a choice.
Right, but why would I have to make that choice about something that getting put into my body?
Because other people care more about public health than you do. Just because you're selfish doesn't mean others are.
How do you know that it's about
because that's
public health?
What else was it about?
It could be something that could hurt somebody.
So you are one of those conspiracy theorists that the vaccine was intentionally out to try to harm people?
Well, if you're living in a country where you're supposedly have freedom, right? You should have the ability to live your life without being told that you have to get this shot.
No one was told they had to unless they worked for an organization that made that a rule.
Well, the organization was an arm of allowing that to happen.
What?
You either get.
Do you understand? Do you understand? I'm going to try to help you out here. Do you understand how ridiculous this sounds?
Okay.
Yeah, I am. Do you understand how ridiculous this sounds? Because do you believe in the free market system?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so then companies then would have the ability work
right,
there.
But see, the thing is that you're going to tell me, would you ever, okay, let me ask you a question. Do you own a company? Are you an owner of a business, sir?
I am, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you mandate that for people under you?
I would encourage my employees to get vaccinated. So you either have to get vaccinated. Hold on, I'm not done.
Go ahead.
I'm not done.
Go ahead.
I would encourage them to get vaccinated. And then my protocol would be you are either vaccinated or you wear a mask if you want to continue to work here.
Okay, so...
Is that not my right? Is that not my right as a business owner?
See, I don't think it should be.
And the companies can do what they want, right?
That's
I don't.
Obvious, right?
I don't.
Okay.
So
you would rather have what would you
anarchy would be the result of not getting a shot.
No, I'm saying that if people who worked under the rules of you sign a letter of America, you have to follow the rules. So are you saying that those people who want to go work for a company, they can just decide on their own? No, I'm not going to get the vaccine, and there's nothing you can do about it. Is that what you would? You should probably go live someplace else. Because that's just not how. But that's what people. So people who care about public health, like you don't, obviously. People who care about public health aren't selfish. There are other people that are, like children who are immunocompromised, seniors who are immunocompromised, adults who are immunocompromised. There's a social contract that we need to be responsible towards others. And just because you choose to not be responsible, then why should other people have to suffer?
I don't think it's a lack of responsibility. I think it's a lack of mission. I don't want to get a shot.
Personal. I don't want to get a big scary needle. No, you're just pitiful. You're just pitiful. You're just one of those self-righteous. It'd be one thing for people to be like, I'm not exactly sure how this works, but I want full-blown anarchy because I'm afraid of a little shot. I'm afraid of a little needle. I'm afraid of a little shot. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. My God. Dude, seriously. Man, oh man. Wow.
How's it going?
Albert, how are you today? Fine, how are you today?
Doing great. You were so patient with that person. Is it okay if we talk about that last caller, for lack of a better word, for a moment?
Sure.
So you patiently broke it down, and you mentioned a social contract. I think you could have just gone one step further and broke it down in a way where he would understand how it would directly impact his life if there were certain circumstances that were in place. I
chose not to do that because they don't care. That's the problem. They don't care. They don't look.
But that's how you make them care.
Well, it's just stylistically. I was done carrying him anyway. But the reality of people like that who are just some of the most selfish, pitiful people I've ever met. So afraid to get a vaccine, not understanding, to try to make a claim that you care about the Constitution, or try to make claims that we're not a democracy. Those people are just so far gone. I carried them longer than I normally do.
From that perspective, I appreciate you very much. I guess I would say to people like that, you know, if you live on an island and everything you do or say doesn't affect anybody, then go ahead. You don't have to get vaccinated. You don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want. But when our lives are inextricably linked with one another, and what I do, like if I go outside and start shooting my gun off in the city and people get killed, that doesn't, you know, are you saying I'm impeding your freedom?
Yeah, let's be careful with our words. Let's be careful with our words for TikTok purposes, please. I appreciate that.
I apologize. I'm not super cognizant of all the interesting policies that exist on TikTok. But anyway, I'll leave you back to it. Just really appreciate you taking the time to spell it out. And it's so hard. The discourse has gotten so coarse here. It's just, the fantasy is we are able to rally people without, going after them personally and making fun of them, because I just feel like that kind of sets us back a little bit.
Well, I mean, listen, people who still support Trump after 10 years deserve to be mocked.
I hear you, and it's not a matter of
they've earned it. They've earned it, and I won't apologize for it. They are there. I think Trump supporters and MAGA in general are some of the most pathetic, cowardice, despicable, unpatriotic, anti-American people that I have ever met in my life.
It's all fair. That's all fair. The question isn't whether or not it's a just thing to do. It's more of, if people start to turn on Trump, how do we encourage them to do that, and how do we sort of come back together as a nation and as a populace? And just, it's really, I totally get it. Like I do it all the same, the same to my family. People that are it's just incredibly frustrating and heartbreaking to see people throw out all reason and support this man. However,
I'm done with the heartbreak. They've made a conscious choice.
Yes.
They've made a conscious choice. I mean, many of, again, for people to say they didn't realize that, or they didn't understand Kamala Harris's policy, that's not on. I did. I took the time to read it. Why couldn't they?
Well,
that's their problem. They don't deserve my grace. I'm not interested in reaching. I'm not reaching across the table. I'm not going to. You break bread with a Nazi, you're a Nazi.
Here's where you and I probably differ, is that so much money and time and effort has been spent to drive a wedge against, for people to be pitted against each other. And it's become religion. It's become team sports. It's become us versus them. And it's not about policy anymore. It's identity. And we've been victimized. And I fall prey to it all the time. We take the bait. We argue about stuff that was really invented purely for us to argue about it, like abortion. And it's not that these aren't important issues. It's that they're literally designed, invented, and perpetuated so that the American populace can fight about it and single issue voters can keep certain people in power. And we have
women's rights to their body.
All of that. Yes.
You don't think you don't think that's important to discuss?
I didn't say that. I just said it's a very worthwhile issue. But when they use that issue and it's not brought up in good faith, so that you and I, or
not
people that
not brought up in good faith. So women's rights to their body should be discussed every fucking day, and the government should have nothing to do with it.
There is no discussion. They should just have the
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're on the listen. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I am saying is that issue specifically is exactly the cancer that has infected our politics. It's an issue that it shouldn't be an issue anymore. The jury's been out on it forever. So, the same is true for other issues like climate change,
who makes
like
it an
gun
issue,
control.
Though? But who makes it an issue?
People that, the massive amount of money that's being spent on campaign finance, like the media.
Who makes it an issue? Who attempts?
That's a great question.
Think of it. Well, I can tell you because I've studied this shit. So the religious right. So this goes back to Reagan.
I saw that. I know about that whole story. That one guy in the South figured out how to galvanize people. And,
right, because he couldn't convince voters to vote for Christian nationalism, so they needed a scapegoat, and that scapegoat was women's rights to their body after Roe got signed into law.
So isn't it important to call out
for 50 years, the evangelical conservative Christian right has been going after women's rights to their body in an attempt to one of two things. Well, both things could be true. One, to make it an issue where it shouldn't be, because women should be just left the fuck alone to do what's necessary, and using that as a tool to diminish women, saying women use it as birth control. Women need to be more responsible. Women shouldn't open their legs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
There are those people that feel that way, but the people that are just power hungry, that just want to be at the helm of our government, don't really care about that. They care about their own power, and they're wielding this issue to keep themselves in power.
And they use it as a tool to stay in power, which is exactly my point.
But my point is, when we are sitting as Americans fighting about these things, and I think it's important to pull the curtain all the way back and say, this is why we're fighting about it. Not because it's an issue worth fighting about, because the jury's out, people should have this right. That we have to, as an American people, have to start seeing that we've been pit against each other. And I'm not going to win over anybody by going through each individual wedge issue and banging my head against the wall until you realize that this isn't about the wedge issue anymore. It's about
who do you think?
Wholesale
who do you
power.
think the fight is? Okay, well, who do you think the fight is with then?
It's an us versus them, and them is the people that spend billions of dollars influencing our government.
I don't disagree. I'm not sure how many. I don't know how many of my lives that you've been in, but I talk about this all the time. The design is to keep us fighting amongst ourselves while they're ripping us off.
So how do we communicate that to people like your last caller or whatever? Maybe him, maybe not him, but how do we do that in such a way where? Because
people like that they prefer autocracies. People like that are Christian nationalists. They don't want women.
Let me finish. They do until they get screwed over. Sorry.
Let me finish. They don't want to see women in positions of power. They don't want a democracy. They claim that they do, but they don't. Which is why they don't appreciate the references to Yahtzee Germany, because what they want is very similar to Yahtzee Germany, and then they don't want to be compared to it. They don't want independence and freedom. They want to be led. They want to be told what to do. They think it is more important. They think the threat is brown-skinned people. They think the threat are women. They think the threat is coming from the LGBTQIA community, because that's what their evangelical Christian right leaders have told them. Meanwhile, the threat is the people that are picking their pockets, the corporate oligarchs, the billionaire class, because they vote every single cycle to give tax cuts to the fucking rich. Yep. Every single time they vote to cut education, they vote to cut public health, they vote to expand the military-industrial complex.
How to get people to vote against their interests in mass. It's
exactly. So so that's my point. We've known all along. I've known for decades that it's not about us versus them. Sadly, because of Trump, the us versus them has now been divided based on human rights lines. And I don't debate over human rights. I just do not.
Well, we shouldn't debate over it. We shouldn't have to debate over.
But guess what?
We shouldn't have to debate over the world being round.
But guess what? We do, because of because of what I just described to you.
Well, let me ask you this: you describe that last caller's profile, I guess. How broad do you think that cohort of people is that wants autocracy? Because I feel like it's pretty slim, and it's mostly like those swing voters that we lost in this last election.
I think it's a lot bigger than people want to admit. I think we're talking tens of millions of people in our country that believe in autocracy. They'll never admit it.
They don't even know what it is because they've never lived under an autocratic regime. So they think they want it, but they really don't know. Yeah.
Well, they claim they don't want it. That's the issue. They claim they vote for Trump because they want freedom. Meanwhile, he's doing everything that they oppose.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's the
power of conservative media, though. That's the danger. That's why we talk about it a lot in this space.
So let me ask you this. Is there any way out of this situation here? My fantasy is that we start to say, hey, you and I can disagree about X, Y, and Z, but shouldn't we agree on the fact that money shouldn't be poured into our system and only vote for people that don't take it? Is that the way out? Yeah. How do we? Yeah. What do we do?
Elect progressives. Elect progressives. That's how you do it.
Well, I mean, that's really obvious to us, but to start to fracture their coalition, hopefully this thing, can I not say that person's name? I caught myself.
You can say it.
But hopefully this Epstein thing starts to fracture their coalition, and we start to see the opportunity to rally people towards progressives. It's the scary thing about that prospect is they spent so much time, money, and effort, like weaponizing media against progressives like AOC and like Bernie. It's very hard.
Well, that's because there's so many factors here. The evangelical right, the power of conservative media with an agenda. the biggest issue that we have, as far as education that addresses so many things, I think that solves a lot of our problems. But when you have a conservative ecosphere that shares the sentiment of the evangelical right to diminish individuals who are not part of the traditional nuclear family, then you can't convince people that the progressive future is what's better for everybody. Because progressives simply mean that we believe that foundationally that healthcare is a human right, that kids should never starve in the richest country of the world, that women should have a right to their body, full stop. The tax code in our country does not benefit the middle class. Until we can get the opposition, which is the right-wing ecosphere, to stop convincing people that progressive politics are bad for America, then it's never going to change. Which is why I don't give a fuck about a MAGA voter. Don't give a fuck. I care about people who are apathetic. I care about people who are not participating in democracy. And then why are they not? And then reminding them as to what's at stake.
Well, I think this administration is doing our work in that regard, because it's almost impossible to not be affected. And if you live in a big city, like, you see these policies play out in people's lives, and chances are it's not swaying you to be a Trump supporter ongoing. And I feel like that's all you need.
I don't agree with that, because
there's certain swaths. I mean, there's nuances. Obviously, there's people that still think it's great, but I think there's growing.
Okay, what do you stand for? Who did you vote for in 2024?
Kamala.
Okay, so you voted for her because was it an anti-Trump vote, or did you vote for Kamala Harris?
It's both.
Okay, well, if I put you on the spot, it's one or the other.
She's not the perfect candidate, but she's leaps and bounds better than Trump. I'd rather vote for you.
Has there ever been?
What's that?
Right. Thanks. I'm not sure if that's a compliment.
It is.
But, okay. But I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect candidate, is there?
Of course not.
Okay.
Well, when I say perfect, there's issues that Kamala, I feel like, could have been stronger on and would have galvanized more of a coalition together.
Like what?
Things like, with the Middle East. I think that was.
What about it?
Just not like calling for, the United States to stop sending weapons and funds to Israel. I don't know if she was that like vocal about that. I don't think.
She didn't say that.
She didn't. She should have, is my point.
Well, you can't do that. So,
but why? Can't do that as a
candidate. Let me tell you. Okay, you can't. First of all, you can't do that as a candidate when you are still the vice president, because the presidential policy specifically was that again. My issue with the United States foreign policy towards Israel, as long as I'm so fucking tired of sending the Israeli government billions of dollars. I'm tired of it. I'm done with it.
Well, especially
because
now.
By the way, we provide $4 billion in aid to them every single year. The Israeli citizens have universal health care, they have free public education, and women can have the rights to their body. So I don't know if the conservatives even know that. So my issue is that when you are an employee of the Biden administration, then you abide by what the United States foreign policy was. She did differ. She say we are going to be demanding a ceasefire. That was different than rhetoric that came from Biden specifically. So I don't know what you think she could have done differently.
Faulting her for that is probably shitty on my part. I'm just sort of observing what I saw, and as people like, perhaps my contemporaries and their reasons for being disillusioned and potentially not participating in the election.
Selfish, you mean?
What's that?
Selfish, you mean?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I mean, in
those
fairness,
are the people that I'm done with. They had an opportunity. It's the same people.
We have to own something. We got to own something, which is no matter how I voted as a middle-class person in these United States, I've been steadily disenfranchised and made to feel that my vote doesn't matter. And while you and I know it does, that's the psychology of the average American, is they've checked out. We've lost them.
Whose fault is that?
We've undermined their education. Well, it's whose fault is that?
Who votes against education?
It's Republicans by and large, but Democrats could have listen, there's a cancer that's affected our country. And unfortunately, it isn't just one side that's perpetuated that cancer and made it a real thing. We've had the opportunity to meaningfully extricate money from our political system and take out the legalized corruption and bribery that we have, and it never
Citizens
happened.
United.
We that made it worse.
Who votes against
that made it worse?
Against repealing
100%.
Who votes against repealing Citizens United?
I don't disagree with you. I don't. It's true. The Republicans are way more evil.
Exactly.
1,000%.
Exactly.
1,000%.
Exactly.
1,000%.
So again, like I've said before,
this is how we come together as an electorate.
Hang on. Like I've said before, the Democratic Party, from my perspective, is a means to an end. They are public transportation. They get me further down the road because their policies are better for our economy. Their policies are better for human rights. Their policies are better for the climate. Their policies are better for domestic, manufacturing and innovation going forward. But it's far from what I want. Republicans vote against all those things under the guise of "We're America First." The true America, the true America First party in our country are Democratic Socialists.
No kidding, man.
Bernie Sanders, AOC, people like that. Yep. They are the ones that are putting America first, American citizens first, and it's not fucking debatable. It's not debatable. Yep. It's been good talking to you, Albert. I got a lot of people that want to request, but thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Take care.
Have a good day.
You too.
See ya. Listen, I want everybody to think about that for a second. Democratic Socialists like Bernie, like Zoran Mamdani, like AOC, they are true fucking America First patriots. There's no doubt about it. Because think about the things that they want. You want to put America first, then make sure we all have health care. Then make sure we have the best public education system in the world. That we overfund the shit out of it. That teachers are making buku cash because they fucking deserve it. Citizens United gone. Pack the courts. Constitutional amendments to rewrite the 2A. Shit like that. And I'm a 2A supporter. Again, it's the right that has held us back from everything. Conservatives or progressives? Which team are you on?
Hello.
DYS, how are you today? Hello.
Hello.
Are you there, friend? Hi.
Hello.
What's on your mind?
Good afternoon.
Why did you request, sir? What's up? Okay. Don't waste my time, please. All right. Got a lot of folks here. May not get to everybody today, but I'll do my best. There's a lot of folks have requested. Uncommon. There's a lot of people in here today, but everybody, you want to continue, please don't forget about participating with our gift goal, and please consider subscribing. We're at 385. Let's see if we can get to 500K, and don't forget about our live goal. We are crowdfunded here. Thank you guys very, very much. Greek, how are you today? Greek, are you there? Greek, going once. Greek, going twice. I appreciate our last guest's desire. It's just a question of what's holding us back. We know what that is. So that's my mission. Either jump on the train or get the fuck out of the way. As far as I'm concerned. Yorkshire, how are you today? Yorkshire, are you there?
I said, right after you sent me the pictures, I called you.
I don't think I want to see what pictures you sent, my guy. I'm just saying, I don't really want to be part of that conversation, but thanks. Ebrod, how are you today? EB Rod, how are you? Are you there?
Hi, I'm so sorry. I thought I canceled it. I just wanted to address that guy that was like 5 calls ago. He was talking about the border situation, and these people are. I live in a border town, and I've always lived here. I was away for a few years, but we've seen caravans from Cuba, from Haiti. We've always seen these caravans, and I'm not going to go into conspiracies, but this was like something else. But even though we did see a lot of people these people here locally act like we were invaded, like there was an invasion. You couldn't get out of your house because all of these illegals committing all these crimes. This is one of the safest cities.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so what are you talking? These people are these people are gone. They live in an entirely different reality. And in a few years, we're going to see studies about these people because this is like a whole other species. They devolved.
I think you're right. E.B. Rod, thank you for jumping in today. I appreciate you very much.
Right.
Thanks for being here. You have a good day. Thank you for being here, Nakonisa. I'll be right back. If you wouldn't mind just doing some brief mod announcements, I'll be right back. Thank you.
Hey, I am your newest addition to the Facts Family mod team. And I ask you right now to please do everything that you need to do to boost the live. Share it, add it to your stories, send it to your friends, even the one. I keep taking the $2 goal, all of the things. But I wanted to come up today also partly because dark and mysterious, that's okay. I will give you an exemption. You don't have to do anything. In fact, just don't engage if you don't want to. It's quite simple. But I wanted to just tell...
Good morning. Thank you.
Hello, Steve. I wanted to just briefly say today about an interaction I had earlier. My nanny called about 15 minutes before the stream started. My nan was born in the 30s during the war, and her father never got to meet his daughter because he was missing in action. He was a pilot, and he went off and just never came back, like so many men here in Europe that from that time. And my nan is not the most politically aware. So when even she is saying that there are schmarzis in power in America, it hits home. It resonates because she's lived through all this.
Absolutely.
She didn't get to meet her father because of this, and it's happening all again. And I am so angry that my sweet little old Nan is having to live through this again. So I think, we talk a lot about trying to reach across the aisle and whether that's worth it or not. But I think we need to face facts that we are no longer preventing this from happening because it's happening. It's happening.
Correct, it's here.
In multiple countries around the world. It's not just America. At our next election, we are like in the Biden cycle of our politicians. So next election is going to be a difficult one. But I think we now need to think about how we progress as a society with our own morals separate from those that seek to cause harm. Because I don't see how we bridge the divide with some of these
I agree. I mean, the problem we've seen lots of the problems with some of our guests today. People who are apathetic, people who are selfish, people who are uninformed, people who are flat out Yahtzees, people who are white nationalists. They've always been here. They just have a louder voice now, and they've been, the no holds barred. Yeah, exactly. They've been emboldened by what we see in the White House. But thank you for jumping in today. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Talk to you later. We'll get into it. Quick thank you to Kyla. Thank you for the the $5 towards our goal today. Appreciate you, Kyla. Lakeisha, thank you very much. If you guys want to participate, we are crowdfunded here, so thank you very much. Hannah, how are you?
Hi there.
Hannah?
How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind today?
Yes. Okay.
So I just had a bit of a question I'd like to ask you. I am South African. I've been working in America for many years, and I've been wanting to apply for citizenship. Something that I found very interesting, and I'm not too sure if you're aware of it. I don't know if you know about Donald Trump speaking about the murders happening in South Africa with the president at the moment.
I do remember that horrible display that he put on in the White House, attempting to justify it by then using video from another country within Africa, white crosses. I mean, I've certainly, and unless there's something different, if that's what you're talking about.
So for me, I work in the industry, hospitality industry in America, and I've been doing it for many years. And I got questioned from Americans and a lot of liberals asking how come Trump doesn't want borders and illegal people coming in here, but he wants to give work to white South Africans. He made a refugee camp for them to work on farmlands there because they were getting murdered. A lot of liberals I've met were very upset about that he was letting in white people. And I'm not too sure why that is, and I wanted to know more or less on your stance with that, if you are aware of any of that happening.
You don't know why people were angry that white T South Africans were being granted access to our country. You're unsure why people have reacted so viscerally about something like that? Is that the question you're asking?
Yes. Because it was white South Africans loved.
Okay, so are you a Charlie Kirk follower?
Not necessarily, no.
Not necessarily, because you follow him. So I guess the question I'm asking. No, you do. You do. Okay. Yeah, we have a research team. So I guess the question that I have for you is, would you have voted for Donald Trump if you could have?
Yes, I would have.
Okay, so why?
Because I agree with a lot of what he stands for. I am pro-life. I'm not.
You're pro-life. So okay, let's unpack that. Let's unpack that. Do you believe you're pro-life? Do you believe that food is a human right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that we should be cutting funding for SNAP programs, which would kick people off of food assistance, children in particular?
No.
Okay, but then you can't claim to be pro-life because Donald Trump, his administration, and part of their policy are to do just that.
Okay, so I don't think there's ever a perfect candidate. Do I think that everything Donald Trump has said and done is all amazing and all great? No, but I do stand with him more than I would with Kamala on certain aspects.
You stand with a racist and a predator and a sexual abuser? You stand with that?
I don't find him a racist at all. I feel like there's so much racism in America, and it's because people don't stop talking about it. Race has become such a thing when it doesn't. I've grown up in a very racist country where there are actual racial problems where people get murdered according to their skin in groups of people.
Can you not use that word again, please? Don't use the M word, please. Thank you.
Sorry, but they get tortured and brutally killed. I've lived in a country where that exists, and living and working in America for all these years, it feels like there is more of a push to have racism than there actually is in America.
So you don't think? Okay.
Years ago.
So you don't believe that Donald Trump is a racist?
No, I don't. Why do you feel that he is a racist?
It's not what I feel; it's what we know.
Okay, why do you say he's a racist?
So do you? So we can use the example that you just gave about how it seemed to be fine that we would open our doors for people who are YT from South Africa, but yet that Donald Trump has for years told us that Mexicans and people from south of the border are rapists, they're unalivers, they're predators, they're gonna steal your jobs, they're gonna take your children, all these kinds of things. Do you think that would be a reason why people would say, he's probably a little bit racist?
Because he didn't want illegal immigrants that could cause harm to America and your country.
With brown skin.
Because of that group of people happen to, I don't think it's a racial thing. They could be white people if they were also committing crimes.
Okay, but he's not talking. But he's not talking about white people. He's talking about people from outside of our country, who, by the way, are brown skinned people.
So they happen to be brown skinned, but he doesn't want illegal people in the country that cause crime and commit crime. He doesn't have a problem.
Right. So, but why are we deporting U.S. citizens and people who haven't committed crimes? Why are we racially profiling brown people?
Who is he deported? That's legal.
Again, we're talking about what we know. Tom Homan, his border czar, has literally said, one of the things that we're using to identify people is the color of their skin.
Okay, so
you don't think that's racist, though, Hannah?
Who is he deported?
Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That's one.
Okay.
You okay with that?
What did he deport? What did he deport him for?
He sent them for nothing. He was told by the Supreme Court that you violated this person's rights. You don't care about that. He wants to ban birthright citizenship, Hannah. Why would he want to do that?
Birthright citizenship.
Yeah. Why?
Again, for me, I think it's just a very...
Can you tell me why? Why he would want to do that, though? Can you tell me why? Why would he want to do that?
I'm not sure where you're going with this. You spoke about racism.
I'm asking you.
And
I'm giving you examples. Why would he want to ban birthright citizenship?
Because there are a lot of not everyone that comes into this country comes here illegally, and yes, because they might birth someone in this country doesn't give them the right to legally stay there just because they were born into that country.
But it does. That's what our Constitution says, Hannah.
They illegally came into the country, and I came into your country now illegally, and I gave birth. It's okay.
Our Constitution, in our Constitution, it is absolutely okay. The reason why I don't think that you think Donald Trump is racist is because you're a fucking racist. Goodbye. Wow. Holy shit. Wow. Wow. Damn. Good morning, Blackwater. How are you? Before we get into that, I want to listen. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
I just wanted to take this moment just to remind. I was trying to find this audio while Hannah was spewing her racial epithets. I played this yesterday, and I just want to play it real quick because this was a hearing that Mr. Trump was at a few years back when he was trying to get permits for a casino. And then you can tell me if you think this guy is not a racist. Let me play this for you.
Discussing Indian blood. We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like to Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether or not you're approving it.
Yeah, there you go.
Hearing a lot of you and me this morning, and it started with the woman called who was a Christian, and she was urging that we love these people. And then there was the guy after, and I don't know. It got me thinking about a theory that I've got that there's people are a spectrum, and that goes for sexuality, their political stances, gender. There's a spectrum, and there's a group of people in the middle who are never gonna not be swayed. They're never not going to be swayed. There's people like you and me who are on one side of the spectrum. We have convictions. And then there's people who have, bad convictions. And then there's a whole bunch of people in the middle. And I feel like I learned this. I used to live in a part of Boston that was very, very gay, very politically right on. And I moved to the suburbs, and I've made friends with a lot of straight white women. And I talked to them about politics and I'm a lesbian in my 50s. And I talk to them about my politics, and it makes total sense to them. They're like, yeah. But they've been living in this heteronormative world, worrying about their kids. And I feel like we do have to get those people, even if they voted for that prick. We have to bring them around to us. Can you see that?
Let me be very clear how I say this. I disagree. I think the middle are the people who can be swayed. I think people who are again, I don't like the fact when people talk about extreme leftists. I mean, if I'm a radical because I demand universal health care, women's rights to their body, overfunding public education, and changes to the tax code, if that makes me radical, then sign me the fuck up. But there is no far left. Okay, there is none. That is something the right likes to use because they have extremists, Nazis, white supremacists, etc., autocrats in their party. So I don't think it's on us to try to pull them along. Is my point, Brent. If they want to come to their own conclusions that they have been lied to, and that they've been voting for this despicable characters and traits and whatever that might be, then that's up to them. Will I welcome them in with open arms? Hell no. I will not. They've got to do the work. It's one thing to say, I was wrong, I'm going to vote for a Democrat next time. And then you run back to your safe spaces and you tell your locker room humor and you diminish women and you said that they should have closed their legs or that, maybe it was something that she wore, but I vote for Democrats. No, that's not enough for me.
I'm not seeing.
I'm just. I know you're not, but I'm just saying that's what I'm saying from my perspective. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think I don't think we're going to, because we're a democracy, because we require a majority. I don't know about that whole electoral college always effing things up, but because we're in a democracy, we do need these middle people, and we need my brother back. There are good people who voted for this abhorrent character, and now they're very embarrassed, I think. Now they're very embarrassed.
Can I ask you a question?
Anything.
So I understand that, he's your brother. And I know the family dynamics are there. Yeah. How many times did he vote for Trump?
I think every time, and I think my nephew.
So how can you still say that he's a good person?
Well, because I have to. He's my brother. He knows I'm gay. He still voted against my interest. His wife voted against her interest. These people are operating on a different level, and they're sucked into this heteronormative patriarchal bullshit. Now, Steve, I'll be very personal with you. Where I am right now is I'm single. I'm a single lesbian. I'm dating. And what I'm dating are women who have children and ex-husbands. People are on a spectrum and they change. And so if these women can change over the course of their lives, then I have to see there's room for these people who voted for Trump, even though he's a freaking rapist, that they can be brought around too. And we need to.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So here's another question for you. So because I believe, due respect, friends, we've been friend on TikTok for a while, but I think the fact that it's your brother is what's putting that filter of a good person in our conversation here. If it was somebody who was not your brother,
right,
and they had the same characteristics and they approached life the same way that your brother does, they could be identical people, just not your brother. Would you say that that person was a good person? I think you know the answer.
Well, yeah, because I'm. Oh God, he's also a cop, and I'm one of those people who says if you're not rooting out the bad apples, you are a bad apple, and that has caused a lot of different. I mean, Steve, I'm with you politically. I'm just feeling as I move to the suburbs, and I'm meeting all these people, and I think they're good people, but they're squishy. They don't have, none of them have a disability. None of them are gay. None of them have something that has forced them to say, hey, wait a minute. Maybe I should be more thoughtful.
Okay. But again, you didn't answer my question. So if it wasn't your brother, would you still say that that person was a good person after voting for Donald Trump 3 times?
I wouldn't say they were an excellent person. I think good is average. Good is not enough to strive for. It's not enough to be good. You've got to be in this society where we're all supposed to be educated and a part of the democracy. You have to excel a little bit in your brain. Good people. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who are only wrapped up in soccer practice for their kids, and they're gettable.
I know words matter though. Okay. So words matter. It's like we often say, like, would you consider me a good person?
You seem to be a fine person.
Okay. So, but I'm in the same category as your brother who voted for Trump 3 times.
You're a reality I have to face. That's the thing. I can't afford to wonder. As a gay person, you're just a reality I have to come up against. And I have to adapt and overcome. And if I see a glimmer in you, like that guy, the guy that called a few ago that didn't want the vaccine. But he's afraid of being tricked by the government. He
was tricked by the government, but he was tricked by the government.
I know it. That he was hoisted on his own petard. I mean, he's so afraid of not being tricked that he's been tricked. If I would like to write that person off, but he's going to keep happening and he's going to keep reproducing. And there's always going to be guys like that. And we can't afford to have them vote Republican or fascist.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Okay. I disagree. The reason I say this is simple to me. Like I would just ask you, because words matter, friend. Words matter. I don't know your brother, but I would not characterize him as a good person. He voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
I know.
That does not make somebody good, especially since his sister is part of the LGBTQI community. Yeah. That does not make someone good. Now you could you could say, I used to think my brother was a good person of character, but he's not. He voted for Donald Trump. He's not. We've got to take the gloves off. You got to take the gloves off. Now you can have a conversation with him to say, this is why I really am concerned, because you voted for this 3 times. Yeah. And you literally voted against me. You can have that hard conversation, but to say that he's a good person, no, sorry.
But I have to progress from that. Because he's not going anywhere. So how do we liberals, progress?
Why is it on us?
Because if we leave it to them, they're going to devour us.
Then no, they're not going to devour us. They're not. Their entire belief set is built on lies, rhetoric, hate, corruption, violence against women. That's what their platform is about. That at the core, what I just described is him. So people who support that, then would you break bread? Would you sit down and have dinner with Nazis?
No, never.
Okay, well, he does. And people who support him say that that's not a bridge too far.
But
why is it on us though? But why is it on us?
Because this middle, they're not doing the work. They're not smart enough. Like that guy that didn't know the 16 tenets of fascism. I don't know how he could call up to your show and not already know that, but I think they're like the frogs in the pot and the water's getting turned up. They don't know it's starting to boil. You and I are aware that it is. And it's like, why is it our job to pull them out of the water? But it kind of...
It's not, it's not though.
Yeah,
it's not our job.
But if they get cooked, if that frog gets cooked to completion...
That's their problem.
But it's our problem too.
It's not. It's not. It's not.
All right. Well,
we are in absolute. We're in opposition of this. Absolutely, it's not our job.
Well, it's
not our job.
I'm still going to keep listening to you, Steve.
I appreciate that, but I mean, we can disagree. I don't want people who are just going to agree with everything I say, and this is a civil conversation. But I would just ask you to really reconsider why it is on us when we've been the ones out there that are saying we defend human rights. They're opposed to human rights. We want people's rights to be promoted and popularized. We don't want to protect children in school. We want responsible firearm legislation. We respect a woman's right to her body. We don't think kids should starve. We think healthcare is a human right, and they don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Why should it be on us to constantly try to convince them when some of them, like your brother, voted for Donald Trump 3 times?
Well, because it's curious, because they're the first people to donate coats in the winter and to, work at the food shelter.
Who is? The fake Christians, you mean?
We're not
the fake Christians?
We're not Christian, we're WASPs. But they do all that stuff locally, so they do believe in it. But when it becomes federal, their minds get twisted by this guy Trump. I don't know, but I appreciate you taking my call, and I would if you were on my couch, I would love to do this for a few more hours. But you've got.
I'd be happy to. As long as you have coffee, I'm good. Thank you, friend. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Listen, I get it. It's not on us. It's just not on us. It's not. I'll go to the mat. I am not going to extend the hand. If somebody wants to come, it's one thing to say, I have an error in my ways and I shouldn't have voted for Trump. Okay, great. Then prove it. Then get out there in a fucking rally and go out to a Black Lives Matter protest and stand there in support of that community, or go to Planned Parenthood and stand as a barrier for people who want to diminish women, or go and vote in local elections, or volunteer in school, whatever that might be. You can, we don't have time for this. I am not going to coddle Nazis. I am not going to fucking coddle people who voted against what we know to be the right thing. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. Maybe other people are more evolved than I am, but I am just not interested. Just not interested at all. Not going to happen. Salazar, how are you today?
Doing good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Just a little bit earlier ago, didn't you?
I did.
You don't agree with that? You don't think that that we should be giving gaming rights exclusively based off of your ethnicity?
It was how he talked about Native people and Indigenous people. Did you not catch that part?
What part specifically?
They don't look Indian to me.
Yeah, the Connecticut government was saying by virtue of their blood, they should be granted the monopoly on gaming rights.
Right, but Donald Trump is the one that said they don't look Indian to me.
That's because they're not fully Indian anymore.
Oh, according to who? According to you? Are you the expert?
No, DNA tests.
Oh, you're the expert. So do you agree that somebody should look a certain way?
I think if you're getting a monopoly, you should have a higher standard for your ethnicity than tribal status.
So you're a white supremacist too.
You think that makes you a white supremacist?
Absolutely. Get the fuck out of here. What? Jesus. They are out today, guys. They are out today. Holy shit. No, Salazar, I take out the trash whenever white supremacists show up. Damn. DB, how are you? DB, are you there? DB, are you there? I guess not. Oh, sorry. You can request again if you want to. Fucking crazy. Jesus. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
I was listening to the lady earlier with you that was talking about when she has a brother that does nice things for people and things like that and voted for Trump. You know, it stinks that the Trump voter has been labeled what it's been labeled. Because the majority of Trump voters are very, very good people. And
so let's unpack this one. Let's unpack it one at a time. So I think maybe the word is good. So how can you say someone is good if they vote for someone who is an adjudicated sexual predator, who has bragged about having sex in common with his daughter, who has bragged about walking in on Miss Teen USA pageant contestants when they were scantily clad, who's been named in 26 or more allegations of sexual improprieties? How can you say that? Hold on. How can you use the? Hold on. Let me ask the question. Hold on. Let me answer the question.
You said things
what did I say that was inaccurate? Like what? Tell me one thing that I said was inaccurate.
Ever admitted or said that he walked into a Miss Teen, not to mention 11 other people on that day said that never happened. So those things, whether you believe he did that or not, are being left out when you guys are screaming this rhetoric.
Really? Okay. So you're saying that when he was on Howard Stern, he did not say that I could just walk into the pageant and just inspect them because I was adult.
It was the adult one. He said he walked into.
No, it was not. Because he did not own. I'm sorry, sir. You're incorrect.
No, I'm not.
You're incorrect because he did. Yes, you are, because at that time he did not own the Miss USA. He only owned Miss Teen USA. So you are wrong about that.
No, I'm not.
You are.
This is what's so frustrating about having these conversations with you guys. Y'all ran with this narrative that he did this or said this. Not to mention, you are leaving out, even if you're right, you still are leaving out the fact that 11 other girls that were in there at the exact same time on the exact same date of this accusation said they never ever saw him walk in there.
Oh, just because they never saw it, you think it didn't happen? So what about the other 27 that said they did?
Why do you leave it out, though? That's what I'm asking. Like, why do you leave that part out? Be fair about it. Genuine about it.
What did I leave out?
The 11 people that said that never happened.
Again, do you think everybody saw it at the same time?
Okay,
so wait a minute. Do we not believe the women that said he did it?
Women lie, bro. I hate to be a
Oh, there it is. Lie. Get the fuck out of here.
But now, some of those shoot-from-the-lip interviews are being used against the GOP frontrunner. The website BuzzFeed just posted excerpts from Trump's appearances with Howard Stern dating back to 1997. And in them, Trump had some startling things to say about women, including his wife, Melania.
She must be terrific in bed. She is terrific in bed. Now, she wouldn't want me to say that.
Trump once told Stern he found the late Princess Diana incredibly attractive.
She had the height, she had the beauty, she had the skin, the whole thing. She was crazy, but, these are minor details.
Before this appearance in 2004, Trump uses an intern's back to sign a release form.
I could do this all day long.
Judy Kurtz is a columnist for the website TheHill.com.
He's made these comments on the Howard Stern show. It's known for being that kind of environment. I think Trump can play this off as he was, doing his shtick.
Angelina Jolie is world famous for her talent and beauty, but she doesn't do much for Trump.
I never thought she was good looking. I don't think she's got good skin. I don't think she's got a great face. I think her lips are too big, to be honest with you. They look like too big.
Howard Stern's sidekick, Robin Quivers, asked Trump a provocative question about who he'd rather sleep with, Whoopi Goldberg or Pamela Anderson, who was then been battling hepatitis C.
I have to go with Whoopi. I tell you.
So far, Trump's supporters have not been fazed by any of his past remarks, and he continues to lead the pack going in.
Yeah, so there's that. I've got some more. Where is that clip? Mods, if you guys could find, I don't know where my bookmark went, but the clip of Trump saying that he's got sex in common with Ivanka. Where is it? Hold on. I don't know where it is. I don't think it's necessary. We know what he said. And you ask why I'm not going to extend a hand? You ask why people, so Blackwater, this is an example. Would you think that those people are good people just because they've donated a pillow? Thank you, guys. Just because they do. Thank you, Jess. Here we go. Here's the sound.
I like her very much. I think she's a really nice woman. I thought it was a little unusual to have politics mixed with the movies. And it's been done before, I guess, a little bit. But it was a little bit unusual to see that.
Yeah.
But I do like her. I think she's terrific.
We want to know a little bit more about you guys. So we play this game here. It's called Fave 5. I'll ask the question. Ivanka, you answer first. And then, Dad, you answer also.
This is tough.
Okay, Ivanka, what's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Yeah, that's fine. Nothing to see here, right? That's fine. Would that be a good person too? So would people who support Donald Trump saying that I have sex in common with my daughter, or wanting to date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years, or bragging about the size of his daughter Tiffany's breasts when she was 1 year old? Right? But we left context out. So women lie, according to our previous guest. Women lie, so we shouldn't believe the 27 women who said the same thing, that he walked in, made us feel uncomfortable. But we should believe the 11 that said he didn't. And people still think that we should extend a hand? Nope. Not fucking interested. I could be willing to have a conversation with somebody who voted for Trump in 2016 and said, you know what, I just felt like he could be the person that could revolutionize shit, maybe turn things around, but I realized that I was wrong and I didn't vote for that person again. I could have a conversation with that person. The second time? Nope. The third time? Fuck no. Fuck no. People literally are defending this shit. And like I said to start the show today, they're going to find a way to blame women because it's just easy to do it that way. And again, I am asking people who have people in their family that are 3-time Trump voters. You are not obligated to continue that relationship. You are not. You are not. Katie Johnson's testimony, exactly. You're not obligated. I get it. You don't want to see your family fractured and torn apart. I get it. But that's not from you. That's from them. We don't need them. I'm not interested. I am not interested. I am interested in converting non-voters and moderates and independents. We do not need them. You do not need MAGA voters. Don't need them. Didn't need them in 2020. Didn't need them. Don't need them this time. What we need is for people to stop saying, yeah, well, there's a chance this person's, they volunteer in our community. They break bread. I don't give a fuck. It's all men until it's no man. You're right. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what they do. I don't fucking care. Don't care. That's the bare minimum that you should be doing something in your community anyway. But to vote for Trump 3 times? Nope. Sorry. Nope. Not fucking interested. Not interested at all. Not. James, how are you?
I'm doing good. Give me a second to disconnect my Bluetooth.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate you inviting me up. I've been watching your show for a while, and I appreciate your content.
You're on mute. James, you're on mute. No,
Sorry.
You're on mute. It's okay. It's okay.
I appreciate the show. I just kind of wanted to address a couple pieces of misinformation. I didn't vote for Trump, so I just want to say that. But I do think it's important to, well, I guess maybe not misinformation, but just like some extra context to something I see a lot of people on the left getting wrong. And like, I do agree. What he said about on the Howard Stern show about walking into the beauty pageants is horrid. But if he didn't just own Miss Teen USA at the time, he owned Miss USA, Miss Universe, and
talking. Oh, okay. So you're okay. Even still, even if that's the case, even if that's the case,
that's still bad. Don't get me wrong. I just wanted to add
so there should be there should be no but. It's still a caveat to the circumstance, right? Like, why would we be even trying to defend it?
I mean, but if you play it off like it's just Miss Teen USA, I mean, I feel like that's a little bit ingenuous, right?
So, okay, then talking about dating a 10-year-old girl in 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, that's horrible. Don't get me wrong. I said I didn't vote for Trump. I don't like him.
Okay.
I just wanted to...
So then, what's your point?
I just wanted to add this out there, and hopefully some other people would appreciate the extra information.
There's no extra information. But I appreciate it, but do you have a point that you want to make?
You don't think that's extra information? You don't think
I don't think it's relevant at all, because he did not make the distinction between which pageant he walked into, and I don't believe that he owned Miss USA at the same time that he owned Miss Teen USA. I think they were in negotiations.
I'm looking at it on Snopes right now.
But he didn't make it clear. He didn't make it clear.
I know. Yeah, it could still be. But if
you're right. So did I misspeak?
You said he walked into Miss Teen USA, so.
Because that was the claim by 27 girls who were teenagers at the pageant at the time that he walked in on them in various stages of undress. That was their claim. Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Okay, that's what I was sharing. Were you there?
Maybe I joined a little late.
No, again, that's the story. It was the 27 young ladies who were teenagers who were in the Miss Teen USA pageant who made that claim. That's why I shared it the way that I did. Do you understand?
Yeah, okay, I understand now. That makes sense.
Okay, so then is it okay for him to walk into the Miss USA pageant?
I said that no, it's not. I don't think him walking into any of them is okay. That's why I don't think it matters that he didn't specify. I just wanted to, say that. And another piece of misinformation I hear a lot is him talking about running for the dumbest group of voters. It's supposed to be a quote from like an Oprah interview, but that's also just something that didn't happen. I'm also reading this off.
I love the poorly educated.
Oh no, he said like if he ever was going to run for president, he would run for the Republicans because they're the stupidest group of voters, is what the thing claims.
Okay, I've never made that claim.
Okay,
but he absolutely has said that I'm a fan of the poorly educated. We have that sound. You've heard that, right?
I feel like you're trying to attack me like I'm a Trump supporter or something. I just wanted to try.
Well, you came up here accusing me of spreading misinformation, and I did not spread misinformation at all. Not at all. I was sharing exactly what the story was. That I think the number was 25 or 26 people who made the claim. So here's a question for you. Do you believe it's all men until it's no men?
All men until it's no men? Can you clarify what you mean by that?
It's a simple question. Do you believe it's all men until it's no men?
All men doing what?
Do you believe that it's all men until it's no man.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what you're implying.
Grape culture, misogyny, patriarchy, red pilling, the manosphere. Do you believe it is all men until it's no man?
I think we should believe all women. I don't know how to do.
That's not the question. That's not the question. Do you believe it is all men until it's no man?
I mean, hypothetically, yes, but literally that can't be true.
Hypothetically, yes?
Yeah, like I think that we should hold all men accountable for their actions until all men have changed in a way that's better for society. But I mean, like,
right. So therefore, it's all men until it's no man.
Yes.
Good. Appreciate that. Have a day. Oh my God. Even people who are remotely close to understanding it still don't understand it. Okay. The claim about the Miss Teen USA pageant is exactly what I shared. There were 20, I think the number is 25 or 26 girls who were in the Miss Teen USA pageant who talked about Donald Trump walking in on them in various stages of undress. Okay? They are the ones that made that claim. And I'm sharing that because that is what Donald, you said 4 teams cleaned it? I don't know. I don't know where you're citing that from. I can find it. Believe the victims. Exactly. So can you imagine, even after everything that we've known now for the past couple of days? Like, I mean, you're still trying to defend it? I know most of you micro penis ED sufferers that are in the chat, MAGA, fantasize about walking in on women in various states of undress. I get it. I know it's your jam. I don't kink shame, but I'll judge you motherfuckers because you don't fucking care. You don't give a flying fuck about it. You don't fucking care. You same ignorant motherfuckers who are out there preaching about getting the Epstein list released up until now when this guy doesn't want it to go out because you all thought it was going to be just the people that you despise, that is the people that you hate. You don't give a shit. You don't give a shit about any of it. You don't care about any of it. You don't care about, I care more about your kids than you do. I care more about your kids than you do. Yeah, you, Mr. Bot, Frank, good for you. I care more about your families than you do. I care more about your future than you do. I care more about your own town and your own neighborhood and your job and your children's future and their investment opportunities and their access to capital and their access to the housing market and their access to higher education and their access to healthcare. I care more about that shit than you do. You care about owning the fucking libs. That's all you give a shit about. That's all you care about. You have no fucking character, which is exactly why I have no interest in reaching across the table. I don't give a fuck if you bake bread for the local fire station. I don't give a fuck. You walked into a voting booth 3 times and voted for that piece of fucking shit? Have I done my daily? Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, Dan Bonino, Donald Trump, Todd Blanche. Hi, Facts, Steve, here Monday through Friday, 8 to noon Eastern time. Fuck you. Thank you. Have a day. I'm dead serious. Like, I have no room for you whatsoever. And I'm an empath. I have no room. None. Done. I'm not exactly zen at the moment, but I'm trying. I'm done. We have way too much to do. I'm going to be 58 in September. I'm looking at my nest is about to be empty. My last kid's out the door. I am committed to fighting back against this bullshit with every breath that I have until I don't have a breath anymore. Because I am fucking tired of people like grape apologists and white Christian nationalists and fucking Nazis. I'm not sure if you've seen the Jubilee episode with Mehdi Hassan. It was wild. That's what we're dealing with. There was a guy literally that said Mehdi's a naturalized citizen, been here for 10 years, a citizen of our country, a citizen. And the guy said, I don't want you here, get out. One guy bragging about being a fascist. And we're supposed to find space for these people? Fuck them, every single one of them. Fuck them. I'm sorry if you have a family member. I get it. I know the family dynamic is tough, and I don't have family. That I don't have family. That my family's pretty small anyway. But I don't have anybody that are Trumpies that I have conversations with, so I don't have to do that. But I have disowned friends of mine that I apparently never were actually friends. I'm so fucking tired of people who are trying to apologize for this shit. Oh, well, it's not all bad. Seriously. It's like I'm so fucking done with that bullshit. You think it's cute? Well, got to make sure that we're protecting our own. You don't give a flying fuck about your own. You don't fucking care. None of you do. You don't give a shit. You just do not care. You don't care. Stop claiming to be a fucking Christian. Stop claiming to be righteous. Stop claiming to be driven by your moral compass. Your moral compass is a fucking rock in your pocket. Fuck them all. Hi, Obi.
I'd like to poll the audience. Is it me, or does everyone feel that Spicy Steve is quite arousing first thing in the morning? Hey now, hand claps or hearts in the chat if Spicy Steve is fucking hot and sexy first thing.
Hey now.
Damn, just like
first of all,
unreal.
Can I ask you a question? Was it brown shirts only day in the guest box today?
Apparently so. I know some snuck through.
First of all, Mr. Drums is a known Schnazi sympathizer here on this app, so you're never going to get anywhere with him. Anytime you say Pepe the pig, or Pepe the toad, or the frog, or whatever the fuck he's being dressed up as, right? You instantly know that's a Christian nationalist, right? It's their symbol. But what I think is more important, and I just want to change gears for 1 second, because this is super important. Do you remember the conversation you, Jen, and I just had the other day?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so next week I will pick a date and time and then let me know. It's
okay. Okay. I love you, buddy. Love you, Jen.
I love you. Now, on the saving grace and saving space, right?
Hey, before you do that, can you just, for people who might still be listening, you were mandated to get every fucking shot there was when you signed up, right? Every single one?
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's choose vocabulary, because
I didn't mean to throw you off, but I just want to make sure that people understand. Okay.
Sure. In boot camp, you do what you're fucking told, or the consequences are extra push-ups. And trust me, in boot camp, you're already doing enough. You don't need to do more, right? I'll never forget there was one day where I counted 225. That's a lot of push-ups in one day. Ask Doug, he'll tell you, because Doug's a good boy and Doug's got pretty arms. Yeah, no, you stand in line and you get inoculated. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, no one...
Government issue.
Right. I mean, you need to think of yourself when you're in the military as government property. Right? It's the UCMJ first, the Constitution kind of second. Right? Like you don't have the rights that you think you have because you signed a contract, and in that contract it told you what you are. And if you didn't understand the contract that you signed, that's a you problem. Right? If you don't understand that joining the military comes with them being concerned about your health and well-being, which is why you get inoculated, because sometimes you're going to be overseas in certain countries and they don't necessarily have health care or anything close to universal health care. So they want to keep you safe and sound because you are a commodity to the military. They make an investment in that commodity. That commodity is your body and your role within the military. You don't like it, shouldn't have fucking signed up, right? So any fucking vet bro that wants to get up here and talk about, oh, well, I left because the jab. No, you left because you were a punk ass bitch and you couldn't fucking handle the military. So go fuck yourself. It's a shot. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Right? Like, bro, like you were that guy in boot camp that kept asking questions and kept questioning people, making your company suffer. Right? Like, I don't want to fucking hear it. Like, what kind of a weak ass human being is afraid of an inoculation? I don't get it. Listen, now, I am also super aware that there are certain issues that people could have with certain things, right? Like, there are a rare group of people that are allergic to certain things and certain vaccines, and I get that, right? Like, some people are immune compromised. I don't think those people necessarily would qualify or be a good candidate for being in the military because of their immune status, right? Like, it would be dangerous for them, right? So, hey, like, cool that you wanted to sign up. Maybe this isn't the best thing for you because collectively the military brings people from all over and your immune system may not be strong enough. Like, hats off to you. At least you tried, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
But for everybody else, it's like, so are you trying to say then when you send your children to public schools, you didn't get them vaccinated, or when you were a child going to public school, you weren't vaccinated? I suppose now in this Trump world, there may be a state or two that's done that. But here's an example. And now you threw me down this rabbit hole, so brace yourself.
Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
If you want to look at the nexus between stupidity and inoculations, I give you measles and Texas.
Perfect example.
Right? Like, come argue with me about how people literally. Oh, who's that? Right? Who said that? Fluffy Cakes? Elite Fluffy Cakes. Yes. Pin that comment.
Can't. Somebody's in the box.
Damn it. Okay. Okay. Yep. So that comment was basically, it was a really good comment about the nexus between measles and MAGA. The reason why measles came back in Texas is because people were believing that getting the vaccine was somehow going to cause autism or this or that, right? If you follow stupid people, you get rewarded with stupid life choices that sometimes have dire consequences. And the unaliving of innocent young children because the parents are so stupid they wouldn't inoculate them, in my opinion, that is schmurder. That is intentional. Right?
Agreed.
I don't believe in this religious exemption for that. I don't believe when people say, oh, well, it's herd immunity. It'll be really okay when enough of us get it. No, that's not how science works. Right?
No.
Anyway.
It's not. Real quick. This is from Politico. Yes, women who competed in the 1997 Miss Teen USA beauty pageant said Donald Trump walked into the dressing room while contestants, some as young as 15, were changing. I remember putting on my dress really quick because I was like, oh my God, there's a man in here, said Maria Bilodeau, the former Miss Vermont Teen USA. Trump, she recalled, said something like, don't worry, ladies, I've seen it all before. Other women who asked to remain anonymous for fear of getting engulfed in a media firestorm also remember Trump entering the dressing room while girls were changing. Girls. Two of them said that girls rushed to cover their bodies, with one calling it shocking and creepy. Another said she was clothed and introduced herself to Trump. Of the contestants who said that they don't remember coming into the change room, some said it was possible that it happened while they weren't in the room or that they didn't notice, but most were dubious or dismissed the possibility out of hand. So, did I state anything that was inaccurate? Did I make the claim that he walked in the dressing room of Miss Teen USA? I was citing what these women had said. Excuse me, girls.
Yes, don't. Yeah,
girls.
They are girls. I'm sorry. Right? Like, they are children. Is a better way of saying it, I think. Right?
And I know some of you disgusting fucking pigs that are trolling the chat fantasize about that shit. But we don't, which is why I say, and I know Obi feels the same way, we care more about the safety of your children than you do. We care more about the fact that they're protected in society from people like you than you do. We care more about their future than you do. I've spoken to many of you, and I've asked you, if you knew that you were going to, if it meant believing Donald Trump or believing your own daughter when it came to accusations of child abuse and or SA, many of you have said that you would take Trump's word for it over your own kid.
Yeah.
You disgusting fucking animals.
You are in a cult. Congratulations.
Jesus.
Unbelievable. I think what always gets me, like James, who's obviously a troll with 34 followers, see, I would like to correct some misinformation. I want to explain something to people in the audience. There is a group of mods that not only monitor this chat, but monitor Steve. If Steve needs to be corrected, the mods are not bashful or shy when it comes to pointing things out. And that includes me.
Nope. That's true. That is true. That's why I have the best mods on TikTok. That's why I love them all. I'm afraid of them all, but I love them all.
Yes, first of all, hats off to being a mod. Being a mod is incredibly difficult. The mods here in this particular live are really putting in the work and are quickly researching things, quickly, sending links, having things ready. News program does than your regular TikTok live. Oh, hello.
Hello.
By the way, can I say something, Victoria?
Yes.
And I this is a compliment, so prepare yourself.
I love this.
The manner in which you are shifting tone in your content and how you point out, like, I'm going to talk about this video. Here are the 4 things I'm going to talk about within this video is chef's kiss awesomeness, because it is so cool. Because this is the person that I knew you were, and I wonder, Victoria, has there been any coaching by anyone in particular that has enabled you to craft such succinct content?
Well, I'm going to make Steve blush because he might be in a vice at the moment.
Hey now, that's right. Let's go. Don't kink shame. Don't be yucking my yum.
But yes, Steve and I had a nice little conversation, and Victoria decided to shift gears, and it's playing out really well for me. I even told my campaign team about how I had shifted gears, and it's playing out, and I'm getting more comfortable in that sphere. And I'm like, it's the shit I do in real life. I just don't record most of that. It's the way I hold people accountable most days.
And this, by the way, was
it's noticeable. It's noticeable.
But we were
literally just talking about it. We were literally just talking about this. And I was like, and here's an example, because, Obi and I are friends, Victoria and I are friends. I was direct with her. I said, stop fucking around, be yourself. She's like, yeah.
Reminding me to be myself, which for those of you who don't know, for a long time I was told not to be myself, not to be my authentic self. So for me, it is a shift to actually be who I am. And Steve has actually watched me be myself. And I've become more myself throughout this process. We were talking about a year ago. I think I was just in your comments, Steve. And now here I am, a regular on your show. And and calling people out. There are people that I'm willing to call out that most people would be like, we talked about it last week, Steve, where I was calling this person out because I was like, no, I was polite, but I was like, no, that's not okay. And then I just got a YouTube video this morning about a specific person's daughter saying about predatory behavior in that sphere related. I'll send you that too. But, no,
I love it. Real quick, I want to thank Lori. Laura, thank you so much for 30. Take yourself out to lunch. Thanks for being you. I appreciate you. That's very sweet. Sometimes I don't know where it's coming from, but from Aaron, thank you for your $10. Putting up with SA racist Mary Poppins. Keep bringing the facts. I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. It's the truth though, right? I mean, think about what we just witnessed this morning. It's been interesting today, and I want to take a special moment just to thank my mods, because Obi's right. We work together, but oftentimes, like, we never know. I mean, at one point we were over 2,000 people in here, and when you get more people, obviously you're going to get more, more opinions, so to speak. But they're always quick to step in. They give people enough rope to sort of unalive themselves. And I don't generally like to carry people for too long. You guys know that about me. But sometimes there's a method to my madness. So I appreciate you guys having faith in me to navigate through these conversations. So thank you all very much. I appreciate that.
Well, the thing I wanted to say about going back to the subject, yes, I love my flowers, but I would like to talk about this predatory mindset that we've been witnessing. And even with the last guest, where I was literally, for those of you who don't know, I was texting Steve like a mad woman, being like, let me at him. Just let me fucking at him. Because, like, I bet I can get him to admit it. The fact that this is like a predatory mindset where we go to blaming the victims. We go to immediately saying, like, wanting to catch you out. One victim is enough. One person should be enough to believe that someone has a predatory nature. And it's how that person responds to that feedback, which defines who they are. Like, if they take that and they say, I shouldn't behave that way. Like, I know if Steve or Obi were inappropriate with me and I said, hey, that's not going to work for me, please stop doing that, they would redirect. They might ask questions to make sure to understand what exactly triggered me. But they would stop that behavior. Flip side of that, a predator will just defend their behavior. They'll say things like they were slut shamed off the internet, and say things like, that, well, they didn't mean it that way. They're a safe space. That's not fucking safe. And then we have the defenders of predatory behavior, which we've witnessed today, where they want to know the details. They want to say the thing where, well, it's this. No. Fucking predators are predators. At the end of the day, they're children. I agree with Obi. We should call them children. We shouldn't call them young girls, because we know predatory men refer to women in a derogatory way, calling them girls, because then that allows them to, cross those lines. And if any of them hate that comparison, get fucked, stay fucked. Like
infantilizing in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
Infantilizing. It's infantilizing. I mean, it's like the hairless mentality in women. There is no reason for a woman to be hairless. Now, if that is a woman's preference, that's fine. But the infantilizing of hairlessness in women, it has predatory behavioral tendencies. And we should not hold that up on a pedestal.
I appreciate that. And that relates to a question that Vanessa had asked about what's our take on Obama discussing how Dems need to do a better job with men. I don't disagree. I don't buy into the whole male loneliness epidemic bullshit. I think that is self-created, self-inflicted. Women are choosing the bear because of men's bad behavior. Men are lonely because of their bad behavior. Let's be real. But I do think it's an important voting block in regards to how Democrats do a better job of messaging men. Now, I'm not talking about reaching across. For myself personally, I'm not interested. But from a strategic perspective, it is the largest voting block in our country, and more men seem to be shifting right, in particular the red pill effect of the manosphere. I just believe that Democrats do a shitty fucking job speaking to voters. They speak at voters. And that's where I've been helping Victoria. We've been talking about this, about how it's really, really important that we're speaking to people, which is the reason that not only spoke to his voters, he fucking listened to them and said, these are the things that are important to me. And he's like, okay, I'm going to represent the largest city in the country, and this is what the voters are telling me. Now, again, I'm a pragmatic progressive. Is he going to get all the things done that he wants to get done? No way in hell. And his voters know that too. But at least somebody is talking about it. Like, I don't want people telling me that, you know what, we're going to give you a little bit more of the ACA. Fuck that. I want universal fucking health care. I understand it's going to take a lot, but I want to be talking about that. So, yes, I agree the Dems need to do a better job of messaging in general. And if that means that we message better to men, then so be it. But men, this whole male loneliness epidemic bullshit, it's self-inflicted. If men are alone, it's because their bad fucking behavior is causing them to be alone. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just because I'm not in a relationship does not mean I fall into that category. I don't have that bad behavior. I'm saying in general. I'm not bashing single men out there. That's not my intention. I'm addressing the fact of this male loneliness epidemic contrived bullshit to try to make excuses, more excuses for males' bad behavior. That's my point. Make sense?
Yeah. No, and we've got a little troll here. I don't want my taxes raised to pay for your health care. Look, I get that you don't understand how healthcare works, but that's not the flex. Saying that statement is not the flex that you think it is. Like, you literally don't know.
So you want your taxes raised to pay for billionaires to get a tax cut? I want to be clear about that.
Well,
cool. That's good to know.
This goes back to that statement that we see within this. A lot of these people see themselves as temporarily poor and that they're going to be millionaires and billionaires. Not that they're going to be poor their entire fucking lives. And when I say poor, I mean, if you make less than $400,000 a year, you're poor. Like, you're closer to destitution than you are to being a millionaire or billionaire. And stop simping for millionaires and billionaires who want you to think that tomorrow will be the day, that you're going to be a millionaire, you're going to win the lottery. Fun fact, most people go bankrupt in 3 years if they win the lottery. So
if I were to win the lottery, the mods will know this, the commune would be sweet. I'm just saying. I am just saying. We would have everything that we need. Sam and I were chatting last night, and I'm always fascinated by the shows. I think they're called farriers, people who put horseshoes on horses. Are they farriers? I think they're farriers. I'm fascinated by that shit. I'll watch that shit, like scraping out the hoof, and I'll watch all that stuff, and I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And I'm also like, I love to watch the survivalists build their shelters. Like I've done a lot. I've done a lot of shelters and built a lot of them everywhere. I love watching that kind of shit. And that turned into the commune conversation. Everybody's going to have a skill, not Fax's harem. No, just because there's significantly more women than men, but that's going to be better. To be honest, not my harem. I do get my own space though. We discussed this. I do get the lair. With a passcode retinal scan. But that's where the movies are going to be held on Friday nights too. So I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there that if you want to join our commune, you got to have some skills. Yes, it will be a matriarchy. That's exactly right. That's exactly what it will be. Yep. That's exactly what it's going to be. So if you want to join, if you got skills, then application we're accepting applications now. I need longer lair hours though. Yeah, I do need long. You're right. Good point, Sam. Thank you for looking out for me. See, I do need longer lair hours. Say that 3 times fast.
You do.
That's right. Sorry, Brooke. Exactly right. Yeah, but look, this morning has been wild, and I saw a lot of comments when I was saying, I'm not interested, or that I'm wrong about not reaching across the aisle. Maybe I am. But I know where my values are. And I know what I believe in, and I know what I care about, and I know what I'm passionate about. And I have no interest. I have no interest in initiating a conversation with someone who has voted for Donald Trump multiple times. I'm willing to give a 2016 voter a pass. I'm willing to do that. Especially if they've come around and said, I was wrong about that. I voted for Joe Biden. I voted for Kamala Harris. I can understand that because the political scientists would say there's a very similar sentiment for people who wanted to vote for Bernie who voted for Trump. They talk about that, right? I don't think the media has blown away out of proportion, but I get that. You want the nonconformist. You want somebody who looks at it from a observational perspective, looking into the system, not being in the system, so to speak. I get that. But aside from that, if you voted twice, nope. Especially 3 times, nope.
Well,
I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I'd be curious.
When so like for me personally, like when Steve says that he doesn't want to reach across the aisle, I'm not judging him for that. Like, and that he's not going to entertain that. I have to as a politician. I will have to in order to win my election. But I don't expect my voters to have to do that work. My job is to find that middle ground that could bring voters on without abandoning minorities. So like, I don't judge you for that. Like, and speaking to the people who have family members, my dearest and only living grandmother is a massive MAGA. Massive. And I, for a long time, tolerated that. But I am no longer tolerating intolerance. And she's not a good person. She's not. And she has proved it time and time again. Do I believe that she wants to be a good person? Absolutely. But she has been warped by hate. And I can't tolerate that. I don't want her around my children. I don't want her around me. Do I keep contact? I do. But I don't actively seek it out, and I don't actively try to think or say that she's a good person, because I know what she has done and what she has voted for. She has voted against my rights. She has voted against my cousin's rights. She has voted against my father. She has voted against every single one, including my 2 children. She has taken more rights from my 2 boys than she will admit to. And I can't sit with that. I can't sit with that. So if you want to keep having those relationships, I get it. But come to terms with it however you feel like it. But for me, I know that she's not a good person. I know that she's made this decision.
Can I challenge you a little bit on something you said?
Yes.
Okay. So I understand our circumstances to believe you're running on what you stand for. I don't see that as a reach out to MAGA. I see it as you saying, this is what I represent. If you support these things too, then come along for the ride. Like, I don't see you as, because again, that's what I do every day. I stand here, I sit here, and these are the things that I care about. And if people want to embrace that, then so be it. Come on along for the ride. So I don't think you're reaching out to them necessarily, Victoria.
No,
I just think you're standing for what. You're right. Yeah, I just think you're standing for what you believe in, and if people want to jump on board, then they can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think that's right. Like, I think what I meant to say, to clarify, is that I do end up, I have to talk to those voters. I won't talk to MAGA voters. I won't talk to Nazis. Fuck that. Fuck them. Get fucked, stay fucked. Like, no. However, I will talk to voters about working class values and working class issues and things of those nature. And what I won't give any space for is, like, I'm not going to abandon the trans community because one voter in my district is like, well, it doesn't make me comfortable. No, they don't affect your life. And if that's the reason the voter's not going to vote for me, they probably weren't going to vote for me anyway. So I'm not going to waste my time chasing a moderate voter who doesn't understand what they're talking about. If you can't get behind my working class values and working towards easier lifestyle, I can't help you. Like, period. And someone said, you're going to lose. Okay. The object of the exercise is we want politicians who stand on principle. The object of the exercise, we want politicians who have character and integrity. If I abandon an entire community to appease a small segment of voters, then I'm not sticking to my principles and character. And I won't be able to sleep at night. At least when I go to bed at night, win or lose, I know that I've done it and I've remained on the right side of history, and I've continued to fight for marginalized communities. If someone has a problem with that, none of my business.
Agreed. So, I mean, Nobi and I have had conversations about Gavin Newsom, and the reason I bring it up is because I've been I've been critical of him, and I think the criticism is justified. I mean, he's a bit too moderate for me. I think he's been very inconsistent in his support or lack of support for the LGBTQIA community. I think that's been a little troubling for me. And I also believe that he is, from a strategy perspective, he's doing what is needed from our likely nominee by going directly after individuals who are on the conservative side of the political spectrum. So I'm conflicted. Like I'm conflicted about that. Again, I'm going to share my opinions, and I've never been shy to do so. We need to be demanding things in our country. We should not be settling for scraps. And the reason that we end up settling for scraps is because we allow ourselves to do it. Like, I don't want you guys cheering for, I don't want you cheering for expansion to the ACA. I want you demanding universal health care. I don't want you guys cheering for, hey, we've increased the education budget 1.5%. I want you to be demanding for public education for the first time in our nation's history to be overfunded. I want you to hold your politicians to the mat and say, why are you not introducing legislation to overturn Citizens United? Why are you not demanding that? What can I expect in the next tax code in 7-8 years when it gets signed again? If you want my vote, fucking earn it. Earn it. So my opinion on it's created. I mean, we've had some good discussions in the mod chat about Gavin Newsom in particular, right? And I get it. I understand that. I would caution you guys. We've discussed this a lot in the space, openly and honestly. Democrats look for perfection, and you're never going to find a perfect candidate. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It shouldn't happen. You don't want somebody to be perfect, because then they can't evolve. In your mind, everything they're doing is perfect. I want candidates who are malleable, who are pliable, who stand on things that are important, who stand on, as you guys know what I stand for, who stand on those principles, but are also willing to navigate, right? Are willing to say, look at the circumstances. I mean, Obi's further left than I am. He's a full-blown commie, proudly. And I've even seen you sort of shift some of your sentiment on Gavin Newsom a little bit. Am I wrong about that?
Well, first of all, full disclosure.
He is dreamy. He is dreamy too.
I have been in his orbit, right? Early on, my young San Francisco days when I was a sexy foreign exchange trader. And so I've always been a fan of his. And I also recognize that he's a fallible human being. But where he has made mistakes, unlike other politicians, I have seen him make certain changes. But I also know for an absolute fact, he does not compromise on his morality, right? Meaning that he has a particular way of being a person, right? And that has never changed. Now, his views have changed, much like Obama, right? He had these moments where people have sat him down and were like, bro, that's really fucked up. You can't do that. You can't say that. But here's the why. And he's made shifts. Gavin sits as the CEO, in essence, of the world's fourth largest economy. He is uniquely more qualified to be president of the United States than anybody who's currently being considered. Now, I'm going to throw this out there. I think one of the perfect tickets that a creator pointed out the other day would be Pete and Gavin. I believe that would be... Or
Gavin and Pete. Or Gavin and Pete, likely, right?
However that works, right? Mm-hmm. Unstoppable. You would have two, and this has to be said out loud, you would have two white men running for political office, representing what the party can be, which is not two white guys running for office, right? Because of the way they can and will need to represent everybody else. I would prefer that a woman be president of the United States, because I think it's past time for that. But I've looked and I've seen what's happened, right? And what I cannot abide is by people sitting by and letting another person like Trump in the White House ever again. And I think the only way to turn this tide is to say, you know what? Gavin and Pete are a pretty fucking unstoppable force. They are the only two people out there that go to other spaces consistently because they have no F's to give. They don't care what space they're in. They're there to talk about facts, right? As they understand them, as they believe in them at that particular point in time. We need to go have conversations with people that we may or may not like. That's not the point. The point is that when Pete gets what they think is going to be cornered or into a gotcha situation, in Pete's mind, he's like, really? This is where you're going to go? Okay. And his response is immediate, right? It's like, oh, I know what this talking point is. Boom. Gavin is the same way. I encourage people to go watch the entire Sean Ryan podcast that Gavin did, because you're going to see something you wouldn't think that you would see on that podcast. And it's not just about Gavin. It's about Sean Ryan's reaction to Gavin, because Gavin told him in advance certain things like, hey, we're going to talk about the economy. We're going to talk about politics. This is the stuff I want to talk about. And Sean, who's a pretty conservative former Navy SEAL, was like, yes, I had to look that stuff up. He is correct, right? And if we want to pull young men back to help them vote, right? You've got to be willing to go to certain spaces and have conversations. Pete goes on Fox News all the time. Why? I believe he enjoys embarrassing them. Right? Because it's so easy. Yeah. Right?
I don't disagree with anything. I think it was I don't think it was a well thought out decision for Gavin to have his own podcast and bring people on like Charlie Kirk. I don't think that was a good decision. I don't think he had anything to prove there. Yeah. That was dumb. I don't like some of the statements that he has said about the trans community in particular. And he's also been influential in passing legislation to protect the rights of that community. So there's that dichotomy there. Like, how far in do you lead? Because he's a moderate. He's a moderate. I mean, he's got some progressive, and I have not yet given my endorsement yet. So I'm not up here saying I'm endorsing Gavin Newsom for president. He has, because of the way in which he speaks to MAGA, is what I'm talking about. He is unapologetic. He's a gloves off politician, which the Democratic Party has been sorely lacking for a very, very long time. Yes. The right owns us in that space. So by good or bad, they just dominate. I'm tired of moderates. I am too. Auntie, I get it. I am tired of moderates. I certainly don't want any more moderates. Again, I'm a pragmatist. I know what's necessary to get elected. You need people to show up. You can't run on a democratic socialism platform, first of all, because people don't know what the fuck democratic socialism is. You gotta go, Victoria. You good?
No, I just want to say, I want to add here before we get off this subject, something to consider here. If you don't want moderates to be in office and you don't want moderates to run for office, you have to do the work at home. And I know that voters are not going to like that. National name recognition is needed in order to run for president, period. To run for any federal office, you have to have national name recognition. So if you have someone that is in mind, if you like what I'm saying, go like my stuff, tag news outlets. Because what I'm seeing as someone who's running for federal office, because I know the question will happen. When I win, someone's going to say, are you going to run for president? And it's going to be the next question out of their mouth, because the epitome of the hierarchy in running for office is going for president. I don't know that I will do that. But if we want to see progressives, you want to see AOC, if you want to see, unfortunately, Bernie's not going to be at the top of the ticket anymore, then we have to make sure that name recognition is. And we have to stop the purity culture within our party, because not every Democrat is going to talk about, not every progressive is going to talk about every issue. Will I shy away from any issues? Absolutely not. If someone says, do you support trans rights? I'm going to say, absolutely I do, with my whole chest. I'm not going to shy away from that. But we have to do that in order to see these people, in order to see them in office. We want to see that progressivism. It not only is going to take you as a voter being engaged, but you're going to have to get involved with your local and state parties, because progressives need your support in those places if you want to see them in office, because that means that you're going to be working the way up the chain for the DNC as well. Because right now we don't have a third party system that will in fact help third party candidates get elected. So in the meantime, sorry, I went on a little tangent there.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I'm glad you said that. The purity test, right? The right falls in line while the left falls in love, and I think we have to remember that. And I'm going to be critical of people who are just going to try to find, if it's not the perfect candidate, they're just not going to show up. And that is just, yeah.
Hey Joe, the Bible says Adam and Eve, not Adam or Eve. So, being homosexual is the move. And as someone who is part of the LGBTQAI plus community, I will happily serve the Lord and serve both men and women. Thank you.
Well said. Well said. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, specifically though, that's okay. When the time comes, you had my brain in a vice, Victoria. But
you're welcome.
Thank you.
You'll be welcome too.
Absolutely. I don't judge. You do, but I don't. When we're faced with a choice, because I believe there are going to be future elections. If I didn't believe that, I don't know why I would be here every single day, to be honest. I'm not going to allow myself to not believe that yet. But when we are faced with these kind of choices, many of you who are, and I see it in here, many of you who are complaining about this element of this candidate or that element of that candidate, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. And you should be demanding these kinds of things. At the end of the day, decisions are going to be made down the ballot. Influence of federal policy is going to come from electing progressives into state houses, so that state houses can then become more progressive, and then state houses can be passing more laws in their states that are progressive, and then that's how the momentum starts. Okay? I may not be alive to see what a truly progressive, democratic, socialist country the U.S. could look like. I hope I am. But I'm still trying to come up with the perfect term, because the problem is, and like I said this earlier, democratic socialists are the most America First party that we have, and they're not even an official party. It's not even close. It's not even debatable. Again, it's about what your priorities are. Victoria and Obi prioritize human rights. They prioritize healthcare. They prioritize expansion to public education, public health services. We can disagree as to the mechanisms to get that done, but that's what democratic socialism is. And for people to say that Trump's MAGA's not America first, it never has been. It never has been. You've been sold that. Again, just tell them that they'll believe anything. It's true. It's true. So the question for you then, when it comes to vote, when it comes time to vote, what are you going to do? If you don't have a perfect candidate, I'm sorry, but get fucking over it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you don't have the perfect policy, I'm sorry. Get over it.
I'm going to say this real quick, but then I have to go. There are tests that you guys can take online. I literally thing that hold on. Sorry, guys. I literally have an option where you can look at see during a presidential election. I highly recommend that you guys do that, because it is so important to know where you stand, and so important to see where presidential candidates sit on the spectrum of policy. So you can pick the best person, because in 2020, when I took this test and I shared these results, I legitimately, Biden was in the 92 percentile for me. Now, I would fall under a Green Party voter, and he still fit the bill. 92% is still an A. It's not perfect. the candidate that gets me closer, because I will never vote for Jill Stein. I hate that cicada. Anyway,
Right.
Please go check that out. It is in my bio. I created a not in a bio. It's in a playlist that I created to show you how I vote. These are from years ago that I literally put together. So it's time for me to probably do it again. But all that to say, get involved, stay active. Active as a muscle. Love you guys. I have a system outage. Bye.
Love you. Later, friend. See ya.
Love you.
Obi, final thoughts? I'll be right back. I got to deal with the dog. He's gotten into something. I'll be right back.
Well, let's all expect that Kipper is a fantastic dog and does keep our lovely host Steve on his toes, as Kipper likes to attack certain things, say like remote controls or shoes or with the bad. Today has been a very interesting live for those of you. Yeah, innocent, yes, until proven guilty in a court of law. Been a very interesting live. As always, Steve does provide an awful lot of free information. And Steve doesn't like it when I do this, but capitalism is pretty important because capitalism is a system that we all have to live in. And part of that system is the monetary part. So if you guys could help Steve any way that you can, either on a reoccurring basis by being a subscriber, or if you have a little extra change, throwing it his way via the apps that are listed, that would be greatly appreciated, because he does give a lot of time and of himself, and is an active participant here in the community. And I'd like us all to pitch in, and so as that you don't think I'm a hypocrite and don't. I know that Steve knows what I do and what I have done for my brother. And we don't talk about it publicly, but I just want to make sure that we put it out there that our wife and I do our part. And so, like NPR, we're asking you to do yours during this spring and summer subscription drive. So please, when you're here in the live, tap the screen, give a heart, send gifts, talk about how sexy Steve looks in his Zen shirt. And by the way, Steve, are you Zen?
Yeah, I am fucking Zen, Obi. Thanks for asking. Appreciate that.
And those are all of my final thoughts. They were only about you.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you to Eric Morellis for giving his donation to the radical left. Thank you for all you do, Eric. I appreciate that. All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Obi, you're very kind, bro. I appreciate you very much. And then let's talk. So thank you for being here. And thank you again. And to our wife. Love you guys. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. So here's the thing. As you guys know, I don't really do debates anymore. First of all, these aren't debates. This is not debate talk. People think they're debates. They're just not debates. I am not afraid to talk to anybody. I have made a conscious decision that the conversations will only go so far. And I will control those conversations. And when I make a decision that I don't want to talk with that person anymore, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm just going to kick them. Doesn't mean that I am not willing to have conversations. The difference is that this space is a by request space. I am not going to be on the front line of reaching across the aisle for people who voted for Donald Trump 3 times. First time, maybe. Second time, oftentimes the incumbent gets dragged in, but even still, I have an issue with that one. But 3 times, no thanks. I know what I stand for, right? I know it's important to me. I know what should be important to all of us. And we're going to talk about it every single day because that's what we do. I appreciate all of your support, you guys. Thank you for your participation today. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Things got a little wild today, for sure. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to rate our friend Dougie. Everybody go say hi to Doug. Thank you all for being here. Be back here tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you, mods. You guys are the best mods on TikTok. And y'all,